I think what you're trying to ask is why am I so insistent upon giving out to them that blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture. I think that's what you're asking. I have no choice over it. In the first place, to me, we are the most beautiful creatures in the whole world, black people. I mean, and I mean that in every sense, outside and inside. And to me, we have a culture that is surpassed by no other civilization, but we don't know anything about it. So again, I think I've said this before in this same interview, I think at some time before, my job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary. When I'm finished working, as tired as I am, and my work completely takes all my energy, unfortunately, but when there are kids who come backstage afterwards who want to talk or who are moved to the point, sometimes they're moved to tears, I want to know more about it, and they shake my hand and they kiss me and they want to talk about their problems, I find the time to do so as much as I can. I discourage breakfasts and speeches because I don't make speeches, but I will go out of my way, in spite of the fact that I'm too tired to do it, to talk to them at least for 5 minutes or so, to sock to them the same message that I just finished doing on stage, and perhaps to hear some of their grievances, or just to make them feel that they are not alone. Because when you have a few colored kids in a huge white college, any way you cut it, they are alienated and they feel it. So when I come, I feel a responsibility. They're so glad to see me because I represent something to them, and I can't give them enough, you know. They need me. They need me. And when I'm needed, I have to give. I curse myself afterwards for having no voice, usually, and being so exhausted that I can't do anything for myself. But when they need me for, and the most important thing is, they are our future. It's an investment as far as I am concerned. When I invest time in young people from colleges, I know that I'm going to get that bread back. You know, bread cast upon the water comes back. Because when I see them doing their thing one day and I'm too old to do anything but sit and look at them, I'm going to say, well, I was part of that. I never intend for my children to look at me and be ashamed and say, Mama, why didn't you do something? I will have done mine. And so every time I talk to them, it's an investment to me.
And that is the words of the incomparable ancestor saint Nina Simone, the Empress of artistry. All right, family. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you for joining us for another episode and edition and the premiere, the official premiere of the Ethereal Journey podcast and evolution here on StreamYard. Shout out to those tapping in on Facebook Live. Shout out to those tapping in on the YouTube Lives. All right. And, it's on and popping. We appreciate y'all joining us. We appreciate y'all continuing to tap in and continuing to support the platform. All right. And shout out to the premiere also, the official premiere, because we had a special presentation, just to wet the whistle, you know what I'm saying, the hors d'oeuvres to the main course yesterday, or no, excuse me, on Sunday. And, that was the kind of the prelude, like I said, the hors d'oeuvres is the main course, our official day of broadcasting here on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so shout out to, again, the premiere of our latest and greatest co-host on the Ethereal Journey podcast, Brother Knowledge Born Alive. All right, and of course I have with me, one of your illustrious co-hosts for this evening, Captain Uncaged, and I'm glad to be with you all. And of course I have with me one of our other illustrious co-hosts for this evening, Brother Pollinator.
Shalom, 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 AEGP, AJP, AJP. Sexual chocolate.
We here, family. We here. All right.
Drop the mic.
We here. All right. It's popping off. And thank you once again for joining us. Hopefully we will have Brother Knowledge Born Alive that will jump in and tap in in the near future and join us on this broadcast and here today. All right, and this is going to be our final episode of Black History Month. All right, Black History Month 100. All right, and so just a fitting way to pop off in the end this illustrious month. But of course, on the Ethereal Journey podcast and our other platforms, we celebrate Black history 365, 24/7. All right. And not only looking at it, yes, sir. Not only looking at it as something of the past, but looking at it as something of the present and looking to continue to make Black history in the future. All right. So with that being said, thank you once again for joining us for the Ethereal Journey podcast with the official premiere on StreamYard.
Big ups.
Triple salute. All right, family. With that being said, let me come to my co-host for this evening. Just want to tap in. How you be? How you been? Good brother. Any updates for us?
Oh man, Captain Uncaged. I'll be good in the hood. And if I ain't good, then I'm misunderstood.
Right.
But we ain't gonna be misunderstood. Hey, am I echoing?
No. We over here. You good over here?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know we getting used to this new StreamYard piece, and I'm excited and glad we've moved on up like George and Wheezy on the east side of Manhattan or wherever they was from on the penthouse side, And I'm just glad to be here, man, for another Ethereal Journey podcast. Like you said, we celebrating another week of Black History Month, which, we have to be about his story and her story. And we're featuring, the people that we got to look back at as part of connecting those black dots so that we can know where we came from, so that we can know where we're going. And I'm just glad to be here, Captain Uncaged. How about yourself, man? What's going on with you? What you got going on?
Oh man, once again, feeling blacknificent. You know what I'm saying? Too blessed to be stressed. There's a lot going on, but just pushing forward, keeping strong. You know what I mean? Having faith in the Most High, and continuing to persevere. At the end of the day. You know what I mean? Striving for continuous growth, development, maturity, elevation, and escalation.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna hit you with something that you always hit us with on a scale of 1 to 10. What's going on?
I mean, I gotta say, I might at this time might be at an 11. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah. Usually I leave it at a 9 for room for improvement, but I think today I'm gonna pop off with the 11. You know what I'm saying? With the 1-1.
Good job. Good stuff.
Yes, sir. I'm feeling elated. I'm feeling marvelous.
Yes, sir.
All right. And in the building, we have Sister Empress. Empress Chi. All right, all right. Tapping in, beaming onto the EtheReal.
All
And
right, all right.
all right, all right. Excellent, excellent. I'm just gonna tap in real quick with the Empress. Tapping in, how you be, how you been? Any updates for us this evening?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We had a wonderful session, only for about 30 minutes, but that's what we wanted to do, myself, Brother Knowledge, to kind of, introduce further the project that we're working on. And of course, we're talking about the voices of diaspora. So we got a chance to just kind of put it out there today for about 30 minutes to let people know that we're getting ready to come full force with not only information, but the tools that is going to enable us to better educate our children ourselves. And so this is kind of just phase one of what's getting ready to come with the development of our own curriculums, our own educational systems. We have to also look closer at methodology, meaning how are we actually educating our children? Now, we know what's going on in the public school system, and we know what that is and why it is and how it's designed. But what is our method? What are we looking at to really have structured so that it can be passed on to others to help them to be able to educate our children in the way that we want them to be educated, or shall I say, edified? So, again, this is another wonderful ethereal journey coming up, and let us go.
All right, all right. Absolutely, absolutely. Excellent and outstanding.
Hey, should we call this season 2, episode 1? Since we up on a new platform.
You might have to call it season 2. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like
I
it.
think we had 35 or 36 for season 1.
Yes, sir. Let me see. Let me check out the Facebook as well. Let me tap in real quick with Facebook and tap in really quick. Give a quick couple of shout outs. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. I see a couple people popping in. So much appreciated on that. I'm about to send out a quick post on that as well. But yeah, shout out to those on Facebook. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing. Um, Still getting familiar with the settings and all of that good stuff. So I can't exactly see who all is on, but much appreciated for tapping in, for joining us on our Facebook Live. All right, family. With that being said, welcome back to the Ethereal Journey podcast. All right, thank you for joining us once again, and once again, it's on. All right, family. So that it's going to be an informational pack show once again. Um, it's a lot of things that have been occurring, been happening. A lot of things in the news. You know, a lot of things in the newsreel, the news stream as of presently. So we're going to have an informational, jam-packed session for this evening. All right. So hopefully everyone is able to, at the end, take something with them. Be able to impart some information, education, some knowledge, some empowerment, some aspects of elevation. For you all. At the end of the day, as we continue to learn, grow, and develop collectively. All right. All right, family. So with that being said, let me jump into one of our first clips for this evening. All right. And I want to say with that, continuing to give ancestral shout outs to some of our legends. All right. And we did some uh works, some broadcastings previously with some of our other broadcasts. We had a special edition of Ethereal Journey, ethereal knowledge, Roundtable, all right, and also on our last New Day. Okay, so we had to definitely big up and hail up our ancestors, and I'm gonna shout them out again. Um, so that would be Dr. Ancestor Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, all right, Ancestor Malcolm L. Haj Malik El Shabazz, shout out Ancestor uh, Dr. Huey P. Newton, as well as Ancestor Saint Empress Nina Simone. All right, so I'm gonna if I'm gonna turn it over real quick to the ethereal journalists as well. If you want to shout out any additional ancestors, let me open that up really quickly and get that opportunity. Okay. All right. So yeah, any
So for me, Brother Lumumba, I just want to make mention of today. For me, it's a very kind of interesting day. It always is, February 24th, because this is the actual day that we saw a coffin go into the ground. And we're talking about Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. So for those that do not know, I do not commemorate or do not observe February 17th, which is what is on the death certificate, and what others have always, said that was the date of his transition or the day of his demise, final demise. And there are reasons that, I do not recognize that particular day, and others also do not, which I won't go into right now. But today is the day that we at least did see a coffin go into the ground. And by the way, we will be going up to the Ferncliff Cemetery on May 19th. Again, it is the annual pilgrimage for Brother Malcolm. This is the 101 year of his born day. And we plan to, take another van up to, the gravesite for the annual pilgrimage, the annual gravesite ceremony again. And of course, we also will visit Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad's gravesite, as well as Paul Robeson and Dr. Ben and a few others. So again, we'll keep you posted on those things. But again, for me and a few others, today is the actual ancestral day for Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
all right. Absolutely, absolutely excellent. Give thanks and shout outs once again. All right, family. Um, also, want to make sure that we giving tribute and bringing awareness to our political prisoners. So I always want to keep that on the forefront as well. So we want to continue to rally around the justice and freedom of our political prisoners. So I will name a few on that note as well. And that would be Baba Mumia Abu Jamal, all right, journalist extraordinaire and international activist as pertains to human rights, freedom, justice, and liberation. All right. Also, with uh, at also, well, let me also add original Black Panther Party member. All right, veteran. And also, I want to mention Baba Kenny Zulu Whitmore. All right, original Black Panther member, veteran as well, political prisoner. All right, so continue to get information, gain information, and share these plights as we continue to fight for the freedom of our political prisoners, as well as Baba Kamal Siddiqui. All right, again, veteran, original Black Panther Party member. All right, also, tremendous, activist, humanitarian, uh, father, community leader. And so, you want to continue to hail these individuals up and make sure, we're bringing them to the forefront so that people are aware of the continual injustices that go on here in the United States, and the fact that we do indeed have political prisoners. All right.
Brother
So,
Lumumba, one quick
hmm,
sidebar, if I may. I was on Brother Carl Nelson's program on Monday, and we did talk more about Mumia Abu Jamal. There is a kind of emergency announcement or emergency action being put out there for folks to, continue to call and email and so forth, the prison and also the other correctional facilities, because Brother Mumia still needs the surgery. He did have some surgery, but in order for it to stay effective, there has to be another application to that, and there still has to be something else done on his other eye. So again, we're asking folks to make sure you continue to send your messages, your emails, your letters, your whatever to the various so-called correctional institution locations. If you want more information, we will send you all of that address, all of the addresses, and all of the other information that you need. You can just email us either, and Brother Lumumba will put it in the chat as well, so that you can stay abreast. The least people can do is to do what is being asked, and that is to reach out to the so-called correctional institutional facilities and make sure that they know that you are requesting that Mumia gets the treatment that he needs. They caused this treatment, this particular situation. By them giving him the excessive hormones and other kinds of things, and misdiagnosing and other things, it led to the severity of what we're seeing now. So again, we did discuss this on Paul Nelson's program on Monday. You can go back to the archives and hear that, because we also talked about, our missing women and girls as well. So big ups to Brother Carl. The other thing too I wanted to share in terms of Saint Nina Simone. Again, her born day was also the same day as the transition day of Brother Malcolm, but just so that folks know, she is one of our sister saints, meaning Million Woman March Universal Movements. We will now introduce 30 sister saints next year, and she is one of them. She's been one from day one, pretty much. But each sister saint has a plan that goes with them. So for Saint Nina Simone, one of the things that we'll be putting out for next year is a scholarship fund or a scholarship in her name. We want, one of her wishes, or one of the things that she really wanted to do and be, she wanted to be a concert pianist. That was really what her dream was. And her dream was really crushed. At a very early age, she auditioned here in Philadelphia at the top musical school, kind of similar to Juilliard. She auditioned, performed there. She was a child prodigy, by the way. And so she was very, very young. I think she was maybe like 12 or something like that, playing Mozart and others as a classical musician. And they rejected her and said that she was not talented enough. And we're talking about in the 40s or, roughly. So we know that it wasn't because she was not talented. It was because she was Black. So what we're doing is to honor her is we'll be offering a scholarship in her name for a young sister who wants to study piano. That's just one of the things that we'll be doing for our sister saints. Another one, of course, is the great Catherine Dunham. And so again, a scholarship will be developed for those who are dealing with that, want to deal with dance and archaeology, because she was literally a doctor of archaeology as well. So that just gives you a little overview of how we're moving when we talk about Million Woman March Universal Movements. Y'all need to get on board now, because we're going to be watching who come in at this stage of it, as opposed to when things start getting all big and exciting, and then people start wanting to rah-rah and all of that. We know that game now, y'all, so we're going to be watching real carefully. Back to you, Brother Lumumba.
I say, absolutely. And for more information, I'll put it in the chat as well. You can email nationalmwm@aol.com. Again, that's nationalmwm@aol.com. You can also text 267-636-3802. Number again is 267-636-3802. All right. You can email me as well. That is powerman2282 @gmail.com. Again, it's powerman 2282@gmail.com. Okay. All right, family. With that being said, also, let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. I want to give um, a heavily salute to our dear brother Ahmaud Arbery, all right, who was assassinated, was eliminated, was exterminated, I should say, on February the 23rd, 2020. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen real quick for those who um, share my screen. Give me 1 second, family.
And while we're waiting for you to do that, Brother Lumumba, just coming in, I just got a message that for those of you who are familiar with Wu-Tang, well, unfortunately, the brother known as Belly has made transition. So one of the pioneers, of Wu-Tang.
Wow.
Also, on this day, Brother Belly has become an ancestor.
Wow. Okay. Matter of fact, let me come to the Mumia piece first, and then I just want to share that information out real quick, and then I'll come back to our brother Ahmad. All right, here we are, family. Action alert to prevent Baba Mumia from going blind as of February 2026. Mumia has yet to receive our treatment for diabetic retinopathy and aggressive glaucoma. Although his vision has been restored to some degree with the secondary cataracts removed, the serious eye disease, which could rob Mumia of his sight, has not been addressed. Excuse me. We need the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections, PADOC, and WellPath to obtain ophthalmologists to treat the diabetic retinopathy and glaucoma. We ask that the public to resume calls, emails, and letters to SCI Mahanoy Prison and the Secretary of the PADOC this week. All right. Operation hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. SCI Mahanoy Superintendent Bernadette Mason, 570-773-2158. Again, 570-773-2158. That's Superintendent Bernadette Mason. Also, Department of Corrections, Dr. Laurel Harry at 717-726-4109 or 717-728-2573. Again, numbers are 717-728-4109 or 717-728-2573. Also, you can email Dr. Laura Harry at RA-CRPADOC secretary at pa.gov. Again, that is RA-CRPADOC secretary at pa.gov. And you can use snail mail at Bernadette Mason at SCI Mahanoy 301 Gray Line Drive, Frackville, PA 17931. All right, again, that's Bernadette Mason at SCI Mahanoy 301 Gray Line Drive, Frackville, PA 17931. I have a basic script here. Hello, my name is X, and I'm calling to request that Umi Abu Jambal, number AM8335, be seen and treated by specialists who treat diabetic retinopathy and glaucoma, serious eye disease that can cause permanent blindness. He also needs to be examined for new glasses. Due to his congestive heart disease, Umia has a heart healthy diet, filtered water, and regular exercise indoors and out. All right. So he was treated previously for that congestive heart disease and still needs to maintain a proper diet. All right. So that is a, kind of a ready-made script that individuals can use. And thank you for, your continued diligence with calling emails and sending of letters. All right. I work towards putting that in the chat as well. So you all can have that readily available. Let me work on that if I could. Okay. And let me just go ahead and copy that. Let me stop my screen share real quick so I can get that whole thing. But yeah, I'll work on that. Let me stop my screen share there and let me come to my additional screen share. Okay. Let me give another screen share real quick. And, shout out to our divine brother, Ahmad Aubrey. All right. Let me share my screen one more again. Okay. All right. Here we are. And, ancestral salutes, divine heavenly salutes to our dear brother who was taken from us, who was exterminated, um, in this injustice system, as we continue to fight just to be acknowledged as human beings, right? And to not be exterminated, driving while black, walking while black, and just plain old being black. All right. As you know, this country has a long and, painful history uh, of, racism, discrimination, um, torture, abuse, terrorism, and genocide to not only the Black Americans, those that experienced the transatlantic slave trade, areas of Jim Crow, and uh, the peonage system coming up and through to police terrorism that we have currently, but also native the native populations here and abroad as well. As you deal with aspects of neocolonialism, imperialism, and genocide that has been waged by European nations across the globe, for centuries. All right. So again, heavenly salutes to our dear brother Ahmad Aubrey. All right, who passed, or who was eliminated, who was exterminated February 23rd, 2020, by police terrorism. Okay, let me stop my screen share there. All right, family. So yes, with that being said, matter of fact, let's have a moment of silence. All right, family. Let me stop my screen share there once again. Okay, with that being said, let's jump into some of the proceedings for this evening. Let me see if I got brother, because I see. Okay, yeah. Let me bring brother Pollinator back on board. All right. Dropped off for a second there. Let me bring him back. All right. Before I jump into the first video, let me see if there's any additions to the information that has been shared thus far. All right.
Lumumba, quick message. I did receive another indication yesterday, actually, and I'll elaborate on this before we close out tonight. But there is a report that a young brother, 20 years of age, in Atlanta or in the Atlanta area, was missing and then found, but he was found hung. He was found from a tree. This was yesterday. 21 years of age. And so before we close out tonight, I will give you additional information. Of course, so even at this point, the authorities are so-called authorities are saying that they don't see any foul play. Now, how they could say that, and it's less than 24 hours, but this is what's being said. So again, I'll give more briefing before we close out tonight.
All right. I'm not sure if that is the other report that I had as well. I'll be able to share that in the very near future. All right, but I thank you for that additional information. And I definitely want to circle back on that as well. All right. And I'm not sure, Brother Pollinator, if you had any additions to what was being said, if you were able to hear, our divine salutes and the information that we just shared on the assassination, elimination, extermination of Ahmaud Arbery. All right, let me get ready. Okay. All right, let me get ready to share this piece of Black facts, family, some Black history. Hopefully everyone is able to, again, take something from these shows and be able to apply it to their lives, and also be able to boost your knowledge, information as pertains to historical events, pioneers, inventors, creators, etc. All right. With that being said, let me go ahead and share my screen one more again. All right, we're going to hear a presentation from Sister Ashley. Let me bring Brother Pollinator back to the stage. I don't know why he keeps dropping off. All right, but yeah, let me share my screen one more again, family.
Hey, Captain Uncaged, I don't know why I couldn't look at the YouTube or the Facebook live pages at the same time while I was on StreamYard, but we're not on Facebook. We are on YouTube.
That's weird. It say that we on Facebook. That's crazy.
Yeah, I look, how it used to be when we was on the old system and platform of the Zoom platform. It's not showing up as a reel, or it's not showing up on your page like it did during that time. I think, yeah, you might want to check that just to make sure the connection is correct.
That's crazy. I see it right now. I'm on it. I see it. Yeah.
I had to come out just to check and make sure that the streams was going through.
Right.
It's good on YouTube. We good to go on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. That's crazy. I can see it on my end.
If you can if you can use one of your devices to go onto your book, your
Lumumba. I'm on it right now.
That's weird because it's not showing up. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Right now.
Because normally I could catch it in the reel and I can catch it live on your on your thread.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is, but yeah,
I don't know, Sister Empress, can you if you're able to go out and just go to your Facebook live page or Lumumba's page to see if it's streaming from your end. Maybe it might be looking like it is from Captain Uncage's end, but it's not coming up on my page when I go to his actual page, his Facebook page. So just a little small TD, technical difficulty. I just want to make sure.
I'm sharing my screen now. You know what I mean? This is that's what I'm seeing on my Facebook page.
That is weird.
Right.
I swear, I'm looking at your page on my Facebook, John, and it's like there's nothing. There's no reel going on in your reels, nor is it on the regular live feed on your regular page. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, that is weird.
Maybe they might be doing some psyops on us. That's why I was asking Sister Cheetah go off and check and see if you can see it. Like I'm not able to see it right now though.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Check.
We're gonna keep it rolling though, family. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just working it out. All right, with that being said, we're gonna come over once again to Sister Ashley B. All right, and getting this beautiful Black footage. All right, shout out to Sister Ashley.
Let's really sit with this one because it's 19. Okay, let's really sit with this one because it's 1915. America's packed into theaters watching The Birth of a Nation, a movie that glorifies the KKK and turns Black people into villains. People were applauding that bullshit. It was screened at the White House. That's how comfortable this country was with all of that. Now imagine being a black man born to formerly enslaved parents, living in that same America. That's Oscar Micheaux. And instead of just being furious, he decides he's going to make movies. Not later when it's safe, but now. He was born in 1884. His parents had been enslaved. So when we talk about proximity to slavery, we are not exaggerating. He works as a Pullman porter, saves his money, buys land in South Dakota, becomes a homesteader, starts writing novels about Black life out west. White publishers ignore him, so he publishes it himself. No dramatic speech, just, all right, I'll handle it. That tells you who this man is. By 1920, he releases Within Our Gates, and he doesn't ease into it. He shows lynching, he shows racial terror. He exposes white violence. He flips the predator narrative that Hollywood had just pushed. He uses film to correct the record. But here's what makes him even more interesting. He didn't just critique white narcissism, y'all. He critiqued us. That part gets skipped a lot, actually. In films like Body and Soul, he portrayed a corrupt preacher, manipulative, abusive, hiding behind religion. That was bold. The Black church was a sacred space. And he still said, if there's hypocrisy, we're going to address it. He wrote about class tension inside Black communities, about colorism, about respectability, about upward mobility and the pressure that comes with it. He believed in discipline and self-determination. He believed that we had to build, own, and think bigger. So his characters weren't perfect. They were complicated because he believed that we deserved to be fully portrayed as human, flaws included. That's seriousness. And he did all of this independently. No studio would back him. He financed his own films, sold shares, traveled city to city, worked directly with Black theater owners, and sometimes he even handled the distribution himself. More than 40 films. During segregation, while Hollywood was building myths about white heroism, Oscar Micheaux was building a record of Black complexity. That's what moves me. He didn't just want us seen, he wanted us seen truthfully. Not sanitized, not one-dimensional, not convenient, truthfully. And for a man born to formerly enslaved parents to take control of a camera in the early 1900s and decide that he would define how Black people appeared on screen, that should hit you somewhere deep. He wasn't just responding to a lie, y'all. He was rebuilding a legacy. Say his name, Oscar Micheaux. Okay, let's really...
All right. Shout out to ancestor Oscar Micheaux. All right, let me stop my screen there. Screen share there. Shout out to Sister Ashley B once again. All right. So this was new information to me, family. So I love just learning and continuing to learn more about our illustrious history. Okay, and I mean, again, Black History 365, family. So, we're going to continue to bring aspects and elements of Black history continuously as we, this is, of course, our last episode with Black History Month, Black History 100. But, we want to continue to bring that information to you on a consistent basis here on the Ethereal Journey podcast and all of our other platforms as well. All right. And just be able to highlight once again, partly of why we do what we do, to make sure that independent Black media is in the forefront, to make sure that we are continuously in control of our own image and narrative, continuing to be in that vein and spirit of self-determination, Kuji Chakulia, right? And to name ourselves, define ourselves, and speak for ourselves, to be able to be the stewards of our own history and legacy, making sure that we can maintain those things and be the narrators of our own stories. With that being said, let me come to the Ethereal Journalist for any additions.
Yeah, ancestor Oscar Micheaux, he was definitely a pioneer in raging against the machine, putting a glitch in the matrix that was being created by the Hollywood folks at the time when they were structuring everything to sort of fit a narrative of their whatever supremacy, whatever you want to call it, their higher thinking or thinking that they are thinking higher than we can think. And he took a bold step. I studied him when I was with Know Thyself on 52nd with Dale Jones and his brother at Know Thyself bookstore. And I was amazed when I first learned that history, because, it showed me that we could use our creative artistic abilities to sort of go around the system, circumvent the system, so that we can at least get what we know is the truth out to our people, and the images as well as the narrative that we should establish, which are based on facts and truth versus based on, lies and deception, illusions, and everything else that Hollywood has done over the last something decades, without really telling our story. So big ups to ancestor Oscar Michaud, and may he continue to give us inspiration, the ones who are into creative artistic abilities, whether it's filmmaking, music, arts, and the whole nine, because that's what we need right now, because that's our culture and we are the culture. That's why the world loves us as a people, because if we weren't here, can you imagine how dull and boring the world would be? If we weren't here to bring forth our creative artistic abilities to give people a story that may have never been told, that, boy, once we put it out there, wow. Like you said, you didn't know about that. Now you know about it. And it's amazing as we continue to build and see our history and her story that has been hidden a lot of times and put in the dust shelves of the books and shelved. So, let's just continue to, bring forth this history. And we do have Black Facts as one of our topics on a regular basis with Ethereal Journey podcast. So we will be bringing more things like that to the Ethereal Journey audience. And with that being said, I land my plane.
All right. Yes, indeed. Yes, absolutely. All right. Not sure if you had anything to add, Sister Empress.
Yeah, only that I'm kind of, when I hear these stories, particularly as it pertains to some of the things that our people did decades ago, it just boggles my brain sometimes. And it's really kind of annoying also to realize that here we are today and we're not producing in the manner that we certainly should be at this stage of the game. I mean, if this was going on decades ago, when you had our people literally fighting to make certain that our story, our information, our imagery or whatever was of a certain type, well, you would think by today, there's certain things that would have been done, to a greater extent. And so that just, again, for me, just gives us greater insight into how we've been sold out, for lack of a better terminology. But also, we got to be even clearer about the who and the how. How did that really happen? How did we get to the point of, people being able to manipulate and maneuver us in such a way that we don't achieve what we could and should be achieving within a period of time? When in fact we've seen the examples of those before us who did things in a time period where, you couldn't do hardly nothing. And here we are today, able to do all these various different things, have all this kind of access, and yet don't want to be self-determined, don't want to be independent, want to be just like the enemy or some kickoff of it. So, again, I'm so appreciative of this information. It's a blessing that we're able to tap into it and embrace it. But again, I think simultaneously, we have to start looking at some of the people who are in this industry who, or if not in that industry, who had the money to do certain things. We got to look to see who those people were, who they are, and call it the way it really is, so that for the future, the next generation will know how not to tolerate this nonsense.
Indeed. Absolutely. And I thank you for that addition, Sister Empress. All right. Let me come to my next clip, family.
Did you get the message from Sister Chi in the Ethereal Journey chat? Captain Uncaged.
I have not been able to get to it as of yet. As soon as I play this next clip, then I will double back and
Well, that's I just said it's the same thing with her situation too on the Facebook page. So just we can continue on because we still are live on the YouTube spot. So
okay, okay. Right. So I'm maybe they I don't, yeah, that's weird. Maybe they're not letting people access it live, and it's being held till after the broadcast, which is weird. Yeah. Very, very interesting. All right, family, we're gonna keep it rolling though. So apologies for that if you can't join in on. Somebody did make mention of that before that they couldn't see it on Facebook, and I was like, well, I see it right here, and I was sharing it with them, but yeah, obviously there's some type of issue there. So, still working it out, iron out some of the wrinkles with this new platform we're on here. You can
shalom,
still
shalom,
join
brother.
us.
Knowledge born.
You can still join us on here on the StreamYard, and also you can still join us on the YouTube live as well. All right. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Is not brother born in the bit. Oh, okay. Excellent. Excellent. Brother born in the building. All right. Excellent.
Yeah, hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep.
How's
Love
everything
that,
with you,
guys.
good brother? How you be? How you been? Checking in.
Trying to be like y'all when I grow up, man. You understand?
Oh
Yeah.
man. All right. Excellent. Excellent.
I see
All
we
right,
still
family.
working out a little bit of the kinks though. Everything. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. A couple kinks we looking at, but we combing through. We combing through. You know what I mean? Yeah, and still, apparently, that the feed is not coming up on our Facebook Live, even though it's showing, on our
Right.
end
Right.
that it is. So we'll figure that out as as things progress.
Too
And
black, too strong. You know how it go. You ain't
hey,
surprised.
hey.
You ain't too surprised.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
there's some people saying that they were in here and they couldn't hear either. So we ran into that a
Wow.
couple of times already
Wow.
with the meet the author and with you know uh this segment. I've been monitoring it. So
Mm. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, we
but the
gonna we
YouTube
gonna keep
link
it
is
pushing
available.
forward.
So everybody should be good on the YouTube link.
Right. YouTube still should be good. Okay. All right, family. Let's jump into our next clip. This is we got a segment here being shared from African American Histories post. All right. So let me go ahead and share that for the family, and let's dig a little bit more into what's happening in Black history. All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen once again. All right, let's check it out. All right, family. Hopefully, everyone can see my screen. We are talking about the brother Frank Willis, ancestor Frank Willis. All right, divine salutes. All right, here is the brother here. All right, at midnight, he found tape on the door, removed it. 2 hours later, the tape was back. He called police and brought down a president. All right, even though he was not held up as a hero. Let's read a little bit about this story, family. All right. At midnight, he noticed a strip of tape. By dawn, history had shifted. On June 17th, 1972, 24-year-old security guard named Frank Wills was working the graveyard shift at Watergate Complex in Washington, D.C. It was quiet work, unpaid work, the kind of job people barely register unless something goes wrong. Around midnight, during a routine check, Frank noticed a small piece of tape placed over a basement door latch. It was positioned so the door would not lock when closed. He removed it. Probably nothing, he thought, a prank, a mistake. 2 hours later, on his second round, he saw it again. The tape was back. Someone had deliberately placed it. Someone was still inside. Frank Wills was not a senator, not a journalist, Not a man protected by wealth or influence, he was a young black man earning about $80 a week, doing invisible work in a city ruled by power. He could have ignored it. He could have decided it was not worth the trouble, but not worth the risk, not worth possibly angering someone more powerful than he was. Instead, he picked up the phone and called the police. Officers arrived and discovered 5 men inside the Democratic National Committee headquarters. They were wearing suits and gloves, carrying cameras, bugging devices, and sequential numbered cash. These arrests cracked open what would become the Watergate scandal. Investigations followed. Journalists like Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein dug deeper. Prosecutors uncovered connections between President Richard Nixon and his re-election committee. Evidence of obstruction and cover-up climbed steadily towards the Oval Office. On August 9th, 1974, Nixon resigned, the first and only U.S. president to do so. American democracy held that week not only because of investigative reporting or congressional hearings, it held because a security guard refused to ignore tape on the door. For a brief moment, Frank Wills was visible. He testified before the Senate Watergate Committee. He appeared in the opening scene of the 1976 film All the President's Men, playing himself. Then the spotlight moved on. The journalists became legends. The prosecutors built distinguished careers. The politicians wrote memoirs. Frank Wills lost his job. The details of his departure are debated, but the outcome is clear. He struggled to find stable employment. He worked odd jobs. He never received meaningful financial reward for his role in exposing one of the greatest political scandals in American history. In 2000, at just 52 years old, Frank Wills died in relative poverty. The man whose vigilance triggered a constitutional reckoning was largely forgotten. Black history holds many names like his, ordinary people whose integrity shapes extraordinary outcome, men and women who do not seek monuments but become pillars anyway. Frank Wills was not meant to be powerful in 1970s Washington. He wore a uniform, carried a flashlight, checked locks. But democracy depends on people who refuse silence. Power collapses when watched closely. Corruption falters when someone decides small details matter. Frank Wills did not know the tape on the door would lead to the fall of a president. He simply did his job with honesty. And sometimes that is enough to change a nation. Remember his name, Frank Wills, a night shift security guard who noticed something wrong and chose to act. A hero. All right. So shout out once again to African American history. All right. Page. Let me stop my screen share there. All right. Let me come back to you all, ethereal journalists. Is this,
I want to hear your voice, man.
you deferring to Brother Knowledge? All right. So for me, this is I was not aware of the story. So you know,
Can you hear me?
okay, yes sir, yes sir. All right, Brother Knowledge.
All right. So the Facebook is fixed. Just real quick, just on the admin side, it's going to your to the stream like it's supposed to.
Okay.
I had to delete it and reconnect it. No surprise with that. So, if y'all seen the movie Forrest Gump, right? Forrest Gump tried to play the role of our brother, right? And so he's there. I'm laughing, but it's not. It's funny, but it's not. You see what I'm saying? So the usurping. So he foils Watergate, right? He foils Watergate. He causes some sort of dissension at the Black Panther Party, right? That's right. He's supposed to have taught Elvis how to dance.
Mm.
So when they push these narratives, they push these narratives like they're very simple, right? But and very subtle, but very direct. So in this case, they're taking away from a real life brother who actually foiled this Watergate type of situation, and then they frame it as something simple or something trivial, but in fact it becomes something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my drink went out. But yeah, just looking at how again artful means of deception are used, and if you look at it, we might look at it and be like, oh, all right, that ain't nothing but a joke, but somebody else might take it and have it in your mind as if you wasn't you didn't have no part in it, you didn't have no response in that. So that's just my initial sort of take on how imagery, movies, and media is used in a manipulation tool, and if we're not careful, how it can replace actual historical events.
Indeed, indeed. So again, importance, why it's so important for us to have aspects of independent Black media, and then once again, why it's important for us to be the stewards of our own history and legacy. Why it's so important for us to be in control of our own image and narrative. Let me come over to Brother Pollinator. Any additions on this story? Were you aware
You know,
of
well,
Frank?
it basically, I heard of the story, but I really didn't go delving into it too more deeply because at that time our means of getting information and research was very primitive. We were still on the Dewey Decimal System when I was coming through. We didn't have no internet, nothing like that, but we did talk about those things at the Know Thyself bookstore, and that name came up, and that's when you said it, I said, okay, I did hear that, but I never really dwelled into it any further because, like you said, the brother was like a blot in history. They just totally blotted him out, you know. And he had a big, like you said, he had a big part in helping to expose that fraud and that corruption that we know even to the day. It's 1,000 times worse. So he was the beginning of the fraud busters and the corruption, you know, superheroes, so that we can stop, dealing with this country and this government as if they're the ones that are really looking out for the people that pay for their positions and their authority. So I give them a big ups, man. But I thank you for going into more expose, as well as Brother Knowledge Born kicking it back to the whole Forrest Gump, you know, situation and piece as well. So with that being said, hey, it's a little bit further information that I appreciate you enlightening us with. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I'm not sure if Sister Empress wants to tap in on that story as well.
No, not really, because I actually was transitioning on another device, so I kind of missed
Okay.
that whole last episode.
Okay. Okay. All right. Not a problem. Not a problem. All right. All right, family. So again, shout out and divine salute to our ancestor Frank Wells. Okay. Now let me come back. Now this might be what Sister Empress was referring to a little bit earlier, but let me come and share this information. This is, I mean, hope. Well, we'll see, family. I'll just I'll come to it and see if this is the story that Sister Empress was talking about. Um, if I can pull it up. All right, family. Not seeing it. I'm trying to come back to that. All right, give me a hot sec. I'll come back to that. Let me see if we have any questions or comments from anywhere in our other streams. Let me come over to YouTube real quick, or should I say Facebook? All right, any questions or comments there? Shout out to our Facebook audience once again. Um, And shout out to those who tapped in on live on our YouTube as well. All right. And let me check to see why, for some reason, I'm not seeing the email. Okay. Uh, all right. But yeah, shout out to Jody Southworth 369 for tapping in. Shout out to uh, Anubis WJ2M for tapping in on our YouTube live feeds. All right. All right, family. It's super important, that we continue to, because as we see, just on a, I mean, myself, on a consistent basis, as you talk about, once again, um, Black History Month, and some of the things that we've put out thus far. But me and myself, I have a pretty good idea, aspect of, as far as what some of our prominent things that are happening within Black history, some of the more notable things and figures. But yet and still, especially now with the advent of the internet, the advent of different aspects of social media, I'm able to learn things consistently on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day, on aspects of Black history. So um, it's understanding once again that our history is not just limited to a month, all right, and that we're consistently and constantly making Black history, and there is a plethora, a multitude of stories that are yet to be told. So again, we're going to continue to keep pushing for the resurgence of our history, as we can see different aspects that are trying to be blocked, rewritten, and remixed. Okay, aspects of historical erasure. All right, so we were dealing with some aspects here in Philadelphia. The taking down the removal of the slave quarters and memorial at the original White House and on Fifth and Market Streets here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And so, one of the latest decrees, one of the latest aspects of legislation coming from the Trump administration, uh, had sanctioned the destruction and removal of aspects of historical markers, murals, and the likes dealing with Black history, that specifically that is unfavorable to the quote unquote majestic American narrative. All right. And so we had not only the removal of the slave memorial, the slave house and quarters on Fifth and Market Streets. Now, thankfully, quick update on that. The uh, higher courts did weigh in on it and say that this removal was unconstitutional. All right, but immediately that decision was challenged and appealed. I think they were in the process of, uh, restoring those historical plaques as pertains to the slave quarters at the original White House with George Washington. But that is currently being challenged, and immediately was challenged. All right. So you saw President Trump, um, you know, bigot, fascist, racist, um, playing both sides of the coin, because simultaneously you saw him make a pop-up appearance at some type of Black History commemoration event, which I'm unclear on how and why he was invited in the first place, and why I saw Negroes shucking and jiving to welcome him to that event. All right, so Just be mindful, family, of the types of theater that we're seeing, that we're witnessing, and the sheer hypocrisy that is taking place, where folks is saying one thing and doing the other, you know, um, showing you one thing in the left hand, but hiding behind their backs what's going on in the right hand. All right, I remember the old tale that I heard, the technology that was utilized, that goes, heads I win, tails you lose. Okay, and so along with that, I saw where we played had recently, where we shared the post from brother Mike Africa. Shout out to brother Mike, where he was posting with the destruction of the mural for the Negro baseball league, the Negro League, right? And that mural was right off of Parkside Avenue, okay, across from the renowned plateau, okay, and so that mural was destroyed, all right, and so again we're seeing aspects of erasure of our history, remixing, rewriting, in a lot of cases to save face of the American narrative, the false American, pseudo American narrative, as the place of liberty and freedom, right? The place of milk and honey. But as we see currently, these facades are falling to the wayside. All right. And so it's not the land of the free and home of the brave. I denote it as being the land of the free and the home of the slave. All right. So let me come to ethereal journalists really quickly. Any additions to what we're seeing as far as, the erasure of our history, remixing, and rewriting? Any thoughts, opinions on that, and also some possible solutions that could be presented as far as how we can continue to maintain these great aspects of our history. All right, let me bring that to the ethereal journalists.
I think that as we continue to, unfold some hidden histories and things like that, we have to be mindful that, the public is going to be sort of like maybe shocked by some of the things that are going to be revealed. And some of them are going to be like, wow, I didn't know that. Just like when you bought the whole situation with the brother that did the Watergate exposure. So I say that, yeah, the hidden history has to come out because this is the year of revelation. I mean, if we talk about it on an ethereal level, this is the year of revelation. All things are going to be unveiled and revealed because the truth is now, like we always say, pressing into Mother Earth and giving forth the element of the truth and factual truth at that, not just this pseudo stuff that they've been running on us, the games that they've been playing in this cursed matrix that have been created to always keep us blinded and keep a veil over our eyes because we're waking up. A lot of people are waking up to a point where now they see on a whole nother level that we have been duped. We have been lied to. And even other nations of people are starting to come out, especially concerning religion. I'm starting to see a lot of things on social media sites where other nations of people are saying, wow, we drank the Kool-Aid, So it's a beautiful time to be alive because people are waking up and we are the ones that's going to lead the charge because we are the original primordials of the ancient histories of who we are as a people and where we come from and the bloodlines and lineages of who we come from. It was never based on religion. It was always based on righteousness and trying to live in our Mother Earth, doing the right thing to our planet, doing the right thing to our family members and friends and communities, and just loving one another at the highest frequency, which we know love is not the frequency everybody operates on right now. So I think the unveiling of the history and her story is going to be a part of the really shocking the conscience, not just of Black people who are really ignorant as well as other nations of people, but those nations of people that need to hear the truth, uncut, straight to the gut with no chaser. I land.
All right, absolutely, absolutely. And I thank you for that addition, Brother Pollinator. All right, I'm not sure, Sister Empress, if you wanted to weigh in on that subject matter.
Yeah, very briefly, I just want to say that I'm looking forward to us putting more effort into owning, operating whatever our own museums, archiving our own stuff, because more people have more of our stuff than we do, particularly the original documents or other kinds of things. So again, if we're not focusing on at some point literally having the capability to be the curator, the actual people who do the kinds of preservational things to keep our history, that means that we will continue to keep going to other people. And so while we're able to do the oral stuff, while we're able to do some of the exchanging in terms of documents, when it comes to museums, if it wasn't for the grants and the other kinds of things, most of our museums nationwide would not exist. And that's just like weird to me.
Hmm. All right, indeed. So yeah, we definitely want to make sure that we're taking more ownership, family, and to be able to preserve our own history. Have these institutions that um, we are in control of, we're in ownership of, right? And so we're not always dependent on you know the goodwill of others, of the American government, so on and so forth. But in this day and age, we should have, we most definitely do have the capabilities of maintaining housing, um, curating aspects of our own history. All right, so this is some of the challenges that we're faced with currently, and the things we need to look uh, towards accomplishing presently, and projects in the near future. All right. Make sure we have these things readily available to us. All right. And shout out to the Least We Forget Slavery Museum. All right. While we're talking about museums, and look them up. Shout out to them, and help to continue to support them, and Brother Ragsdale, Baba Ragsdale. All right. So that's one thing I can definitely make mention of, and hail up as far as one of the institutions, historical museums that our folks are actually in control of, have ownership of. All right, so that's just one example, family. I'm sure there are many more. Okay, with that being said, let me go ahead and share my screen. This is what the story that I was referring to earlier. I'm not sure if this is the same one that Sister Empress was talking about with his previous with the previous conversation that we were having. All right, let me go to my screen share here, and rest in peace and condolences to the family of 21-year-old college student Kyle Basinga, who was missing and then discovered hanging from a tree in Georgia Park. All right, police are saying no foul play. All right, so this is the brother here, and I'll see if I can dig up the other information that I had pertaining to this case. But we've seen a litany of these type of incidents presently, currently, right? And so one of the things we want to look to and look for is how do we make sure that we maintain aspects of accountability, that we are ensuring justice for our fallen uh, brethren, but also how do we build up more aspects of safety and security mechanisms, right? So to make sure that these things are not happening in the first place. How do we further continue to build towards having these types of presence within the community, So folks will think once, twice, and thrice about even thinking about participating in some of these heinous acts. All right. So again, this is our brother here, 21-year-old college student Kyle Basenga. All right, rest in peace. And let's continue to stay on top of this story and make sure this is getting spread widely. As far as aspects of our independent media outlets, and making sure that we can ensure that this brother receives justice. All right. All right. Let me stop my screen share there. Let me come to the ethereal journalist, see if there's any additions, information that you all like to share.
No, I'm good. I'm good that there's it's being exposed more widely, and that we're continuing to highlight these particular situations as they come up, because there's a lot more uh, things that are being suppressed in the news media. Of course, the news media cycle is inundated with all this nonsense that's popping off with all these different distractions all over the world, and that whole diverting your attention over here, over there, and everywhere. But at the end of the day, this is how they get away with a young brother in the South being hung in a tree, two or three of them in one particular cycle, or young black women and girls being snatched up off our streets, because there's a whole what they call it, smorgasbord of hell being unleashed at one time, and there's things that are more hellish than what they feel is the a black woman or a black man being hung or snatched up off the streets. There's something else more important to a lot of people, and when those things happen to us, the news media says, whatever, that's black people. We don't, that's not our biggest issue right now. Worrying about young girls getting snatched up off the streets, or young black men being hung in the South like they were back in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s or something. So that's what we have to be very careful about going forward, that we don't get caught up in the hailstorm of all these distractions coming at us one time, and to the point where we see these atrocities happening on a more regular basis, and we can't address them because we got these other things that we got to address, like the government shutdown, and how we going to feed our families, and go into the food pantry and get food for our children, and different other things that people are struggling with. So they could really care less at this point in time about what's happening with a black man being hung in the South, or young black women across the world being snatched up off these streets when they got to feed their children. So these are the things that I call it the drowning effect. Everybody's bobbing up and down inside the lake. No one's on the shore to throw a life raft or something into the water to pull people up to the shore, because everybody's bobbing up and down in the water because it's a drowning effect. And some people are pushing you under the water because they were trying to get up and get their last 2 or 3 breaths at the expense of pushing you down and holding you down as their flotation device. And that's what's happening right now. So we have to pick and choose now what is important to us at this point, because there's a lot of things that are not important, especially a black man getting hung or young black children get snatched up off these streets by these body snatchers. So we just got to really, focus on what is more important to us at this point in time. It's a lot going on, and a lot of things hitting us all in all different angles, 360 degrees. So that's just my interjection on the whole situation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Much appreciated. And thank you for that addition, Brother Pollinator. Let me see if there's any other weigh-ins. Okay. All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. And again, condolences to the family. Rest in peace to Brother Kyle Basenga. And let's continue to rally around this and other atrocities that are happening, and making sure they stay in the forefront, stay in the news feed, and we can bring our people justice. All right. Okay. Let me come to my next. Okay. And let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, this is beautifully done. Um, this is another one of our ancestors, pioneers, innovators, creators, uh, spokesman. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Uh, Tacticianer. Go ahead and share right here. All right, let's get into it with Nation Builder. All right, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Thing Marcus Garvey ever did was make black people believe they didn't need approval. This is the story of Marcus Messiah Garvey. He was born in 1887 in St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica, under British colonial rule, where black people were taught to see themselves as labor, not leaders. Garvey's father was a mason, and among the things that he did was create tombs for people in the St. Anne's Bay graveyard. When Garvey was just a child in Jamaica, his father did something unusual. He took Garvey with him, and they were digging this grave, and his father had Garvey go down inside the grave, and then he pulled the ladder up. Garvey said that he cried out that his father wouldn't let him get back up. He wanted to teach him a lesson. Young Marcus Garvey learned that he could rely on nobody but himself. It was a lesson that he would carry on for the rest of his life. From a young age, Garvey noticed something unsettling. White children were prepared to rule, black children were prepared to serve. He became a printer's apprentice, which gave him access to books, newspapers, and ideas. That's where his mind sharpened. Garvey traveled across the Caribbean and Central America, working among black laborers and watching the same pattern repeat. Black people building wealth everywhere, but owning nothing anywhere. That observation changed him. Garvey didn't believe freedom would come from acceptance. He believed it would come from self-reliance. As a boy, Garvey imagined himself delivering speeches to adoring crowds. He read constantly, history, politics, newspapers. He dressed sharply all the time. He believed how you present yourself shapes how the world treats you. In 1914, he founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, the UNIA, with a simple but radical idea. Black people across the world needed to see themselves as one people with one destiny. When Garvey moved to the United States, his message exploded. By the early 1920s, the UNIA had millions of members worldwide, making it the largest mass black movement in history. Garvey launched black-owned businesses, factories, schools. He created the Negro World, a paper that spread black pride across continents. And then came the most ambitious symbol of all, the Black Star Line, a shipping company meant to represent black economic independence and global trade. For the first time, black people were being told to think beyond survival, to think like a nation. That terrified people. The US government watched him. Even some black leaders feared his influence. Garvey was charged with mail fraud, not for stealing money, but daring to build black institutions without permission. He was imprisoned, then deported back to Jamaica. His movement collapsed publicly. His reputation was dragged, and when Garvey died in 1940, he was dismissed by many as a failure. But history tells a different story. Kwame Nkrumah carried Garvey's ideas into Ghana's independence. Malcolm X learned black pride through Garveyism at home. Pan-Africanism, black nationalism, and cultural self-determination all traced back to him. Garvey didn't fail. He planted seeds that threatened empires. His real achievement wasn't ships or speeches. It was teaching black people to see themselves differently. And that brings us to the real question. If Marcus Garvey built the mental foundation for black liberation, why is the work still unfinished? And as always, let me know your thoughts below in the comments.
All right, family, let me stop the screen share there. And, I think that's an excellent question. Okay. Shout out to salutes to ancestor, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, once again. Phenomenal works. But excellent question though. If these type of foundations were laid decades ago, then as far as the narrative and imagery, some of the power, right, the capabilities of our people, then why has this type of narrative and imagery, this type of power and nation building, why has it not continued? Why has it not furthered in today's day and age? All right, let's bring it to the ethereal journalist. Any additions, family?
Yeah, I think I'm good. I'm glad he went into a little bit of more of the untold story of how Marcus Garvey was held as in high esteem as he continued on in his early journey, but in his later years, a lot of tragedy befell him. A lot of things happened when he went overseas in Europe, and then when he finally went back to Jamaica to try to organize those people from that land, and how they treated him like this man wasn't a great person or a great man of our people that tried to lead us to a direction in which we were going to be prosperous, have self-determination, and the whole nine. So, but it's sad because a lot of the stories of our fallen heroes, whether it was done through our own people doing it to them or the system or whatever you want to call it, doing it to them, it's a shame that this is how a lot of them end up at. And then in the end, when they're coming down that ladder, and they really wasn't up on top of the ladder trying to act like they were better than nobody. They were just trying to help our people in general. But when they come back down and have to go back to their old hauntings and their whole old places where they used to, build and where they grew and where they learned a lot of their principles in life, there's no one to support them. And they end up pretty much just passing away, sort of like you see a vapor or a mist in the air or whatever, and then it just slowly disappears into oblivion and like it never existed. And that's how a lot of our heroes and our ones that had been doing the work, really trying to help our people, rise up to the next levels that we should be trying to rise up to. This is the things that have been happening to them. And a lot of time it's due to our own people undermining them, and it's sad. And, it's just sad the way his whole situation ended. And people needed to know that part of the story as well. So thank you for injecting that part into the discussion tonight. Are you?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Give thanks. Thank you for that. Indeed. Thank you for that addition, Brother Pollinator. All right. All right, family. Let me come back to the Ethereal Journalist. Any other additions from the Ethereal Journalist? Okay. All right. Let me come to the next. Let me come to the next. Now we're gonna touch base. This is a post. I saw it. I had to grab it, and just something. Again, dealing with history. Let me see. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen here, family. And just want to come to you all and get your thoughts on it, and how can we put things into further perspective, right? When we look at things pertaining to our history, and some of that and their connectedness as it pertains to religious practices, right? And how we can possibly reconcile with some of these things. Okay, so yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen, and then let's take a quick peek, and come on back for some commentary. Okay. All right, you can see my screen here. And shout out to the brother Inkid Snake. Okay, let's let it rock.
And the Arab N-word. I would like to start this video with Free Palestine for those idiots that called me Zionist, only for them to deny. So we have an N-word in the Arab language. Most of you know it. It's Zinji. Zenshi in the Turkish language. Shout out to my Afro-Turkish people. Zengi in the Persian language, shout out to Afro-Iranians, and in the Egyptian parts, it's so this word refers historically to the Zanj people. Those were individuals that were enslaved and taken from the original land in East Africa, mostly the Swahili coast. They were taken to the Arab Empire, and they worked there as slaves on plantations, the men, or as sex slaves, the women, and many other brutal things with very brutal conditions. Yes, there were Slavic people enslaved too, but they didn't suffer the same. And they were much more privileged than black people, which should prove you that there were a racial hierarchy. So the Zanj people even had a rebellion against their oppressors that is to this day called the Zanj Rebellion. You can read about that, it's very inspiring, and I love it as a Afro-Iraqi. So why the word Zanj? Zanj refers to a place called Zanzibar, Arab Persian word for coast of the blacks. Zanzibar, today known as Zanzibar, was the biggest trading hub for slaves back in the day of the Abbasid Empire. To this day, racist Arab peoples, not all of them, racist Arab people, use the word Zanj to insult a black person by referring knowingly or unknowingly to this part of history. But let me ask you another question to the Arab deniers. If slavery was known for everyone and it wasn't based on race and whatever, why are black people in Arab countries always been insulted with abd? I never saw a Slavic person insulted with this word before. So can you explain this to me? Yeah. Last but not least, Zionism and the Zionist state of Israel is not a friend for black people or black history, because there are a lot of reasons to not ally with Israel. But one of the famous ones is back in the days of apartheid, Israel was one of the very few supporters of the apartheid regime of South Africa. So no, this is not the way to go for black people too.
All right, family. Let me go ahead and stop my screen share there. Now, I bring this to the forefront because, and shout out, to those who are on their journeys, right? Whether it be, dealing with Christianity, with Islam, um, but to make sure that we have a holistic type of context to where some of that is being controlled and dominated, and the thoughts and opinions on some of those, that have domination within there. We're talking about, Middle East, talking about the Arab world, where a lot of the not just aspects of the religion, but aspects of the culture, right, is taking on by us, and I don't know if people are familiar with different interactions or had any interactions with those of the Arab world who practice Islam, but there's like a turning up the nose, when it comes to quote unquote black Muslims. And so, the brother just kind of explained some of those things that goes on, kind of unbeknownst, right? And so, looking at other aspects, when you look at the Nation of Islam, although they practice Islam, it wasn't of a Arabic type of culture, type of context. The main forefront theme was black nationalism, and dealing with aspects that were particularly, addressing and catering to the needs of black people, right? And some of the things that happened subsequently because of that. One of the strongest, um, type of movements in our history as far as black people is concerned. So, just and this being the month of Ramadan, right? Let me say that. And when it comes to different aspects of discipline, of different structures, that are important. So as for myself, as an example, right? Um, I really do not profess any religion, right? I do look at certain disciplines and practices. And so I look at those things which are beneficial to me and help to build up my character, right? And able to get me more aligned with, from my perspective and from my perception, what is as a higher power, right? And I don't get too bogged down with some of the fine details because I focus more so on the principles that are supposed to be adhered to. A lot of people I see with religious dogma and a lot of professions, but when it comes to practical applications, I really don't see that taking fold or taking hold, right? And so, shout out to again to those on their journey and their walk. But just to make sure folks have a certain historical context as it pertains to this, and knowing that there's different variations, right, and delineations, and just knowing the true history and culturally how others are dealing with this, and to be mindful of these things, right? So again, coming back to Ramadan, I myself, I started in 2025 in November, and I was doing a raw food fast, right? I did a 44-day raw food fast, and after I broke that, I continued on to do intermittent fasting, where I'm fasting 16 hours of the day, and you know, maintaining that. I've maintained that throughout up until this point till today. And so when Ramadan came around, I was already fasting. I was already practicing intermittent fasting, where I wasn't eating until 6, 7 o'clock. Sometimes later, right? And within incorporating this into my lifestyle, not just on a religious basis, but really incorporating it into a lifestyle. And I know others, who are practicing are looking at it in the aspect of a lifestyle and not so much as a religion per se, right? So I just want to put that information out there and just make sure people are aware of that and understanding that we are in different walks in our lives, and to be as tolerant as possible, but also understand some of the greater context of the world that we're living in. All right, and make sure we're also acknowledging the history that is behind some of these things, right? And now, of course, I can also mention Christianity and the fact that a lot of persecutions around the globe were, orchestrated in the name of Christianity, including the practice of slavery. All right, as it pertains to our people with the transatlantic slave trade, and one of the ships actually being named the good ship Jesus, right? Um, and but also understanding other contexts such as older practices of Christianity when you're talking about Ethiopia and some of the birth of religious type of practices, period, right? And as you go further and further back, you see some of the origins of that are stemming from our ancestors, right? When you talk about monotheism, you're talking about, once again, stemming from our ancestors before Christianity actually existed, and some of the prerequisites to that, as far as the Trinity is concerned, was man, woman, and child. Okay, was Asar, Aset, and Haru. All right. So with that being said, let me come over to the theory journalist and get your thoughts and opinions on this situation.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit that real quick. I think that it's amazing to me that religious dogma, indoctrination, theological abstractions that have been created over the years since all three of these major religions came into effect, whether it was Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. But they all stem from the bloodlines and lineages of one person. So the paradox is that it's never really been about religion. It's always been about Genesis, where we came from, genetics, bloodlines, lineages, and genealogies of our family bloodlines. They turned it into religion, and some of them destiny swapped a whole nation of people. I'm gonna say it like it is. The Hollywood, situation there. You know what I mean? Them ain't the real true people that came from the bloodlines and lineages of Abraham. But all of the other religions claim that those bloodlines and lineages. So that's the paradox. How can these three major religions that come from the same bloodlines and lineages through genetics or genealogies or whatever, and they can't get together to make the world a better place? But they fight and they argue and they kill each other and unalive each other over some religious dogma and the indoctrinations and theological abstractions that have been taught over the centuries that are now ingrained in the people's minds. My bloodlines, I know where my bloodlines come from, and I stay strong in my bloodline. I stay strong in my lineages. Ain't got nothing to do with their religious indoctrination, because I know it was the ancient ones that wrote these things. And the truth of those things are in those ancient scripts. But people don't realize it was a story being told. It's prophecies being fulfilled as we speak. It was never about looking at it from, I'm going to go sit up in the mosque, or I'm going to sit up in the synagogue, or sit up in the church and sit up here and think that's where it's at. No, even the ancient ones talked that the kingdom of the Most High was never built by the hands of man. The kingdom of the Most High was always within, meaning you have to go within yourself to find the God in you, the Most High in you. Not going to a Sunday church or a Saturday synagogue thing or kneeling and praying to. No, that's all formula. And that's what religions have done. It have taken us away from looking within to the God within ourselves versus externally thinking that, oh, he's on the outside. No, or she's on the outside. No, the Most High is within you. And that's the problem with religions. They have taken that out because that means you're going to be able to raise your consciousness to know that, hey, if the Most High is within me, that means I'm a child of the Most High and I have God-like qualities. And the consciousness that I'm obtaining over my lifetime is based on me going within and not without, going as above within me instead of the root chakra level to the solar plexus level. No, I'm going to stick to the heart, through the crown, through the first eye, and through the throat. Meaning those are the higher dimensions within us that shows you that we are technology, and we have the Most High within us in our DNA, our DEA. So I think that's where religions have done, and that's why we have so much confusion. But I always say, Babylon going to exist until the people come out of Babylon. That's what Bob Marley and them was trying to tell us. Come out of Babylon, my people. This is confusion. And that's all religion does. It confuses people to think that they can look outside of themselves for the God, as opposed to looking inside themselves to the God within their internal technology, their real it. So that's my perspective, take it or leave it, as I always say. But I'm glad I'm able to, just interject that thought, spoke that thought into people's heads. So I yield on that.
All right, yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you for that. All right, thank you for that addition, Brother Pollinator. All right, and let me come back to, let me see if any of our other ethereal journalists have any additions. Okay. All right. And let me share my next post here, family. And again, just very interesting in the conversation, around this subject matter. And again, what we do here, family, not to admonish, anyone's beliefs or practices. It is merely to interject thought, right, to deal with aspects of critical and analytical thinking, and seeing, those things that will help to allow us to further grow and develop and mature, okay, in our perspectives, in our understandings, overstandings, understandings, and outerstandings, right, as to not be stuck into one place or position, and have the ability to be fluid, all right. And because it's of the utmost of importance, right, to be able to challenge different ideas, theories, theologies, so on and so forth. Because that's the only way to produce further growth. So if folks would like to kind of just stay where they're at, by all means. But I myself, I want to continue to be able to grow and develop, right, within these means and measures. Okay. With that being said, and also to be able to tell true history, right, and not let these things bar us from that. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen one more again. This is touching on the same subject matter. I just wanted to kind of continue down this thread, and just to kind of again just see where our heads are at, where our minds are at, where our hearts are at, so uh, see, kind of where to get a gauge of where we're at as a people, and the things that we foreseeing that we need as far as our further growth and development, mentally, spiritually, and physically. All right, with that being said, sharing the screen here. Shout out to uh, Baba Omawali. All right, and he says in his post here, Dr. James Small said the African slave traders were Muslims indoctrinated by Arabs. All right. So kind of playing on that same, uh, staying in that same vein of uh, you know, dealing with aspects of accountability. All right. Convert to Islam or die, or be sold into Atlantic shadow slavery machine, says one brother. In some instances, the Fulani were major slave traders, and yes, they follow Islam, says another sister. Um, let's see, we cannot forget the Arabic slave trade that took place prior to the transatlantic slave trade. Um, and then, so we have another counter argument. So why not mention those Africans that tricked and sold us to the Europeans for weapons? Papa, they themselves ended up in slavery, but were hollering, go back to Africa for what for? My experience with most of them themselves got in issues with us here in America. Hell, they are the biggest slave traders of all. Yes, she saw another documentary on the same thing. It seems to mother we shall be angry or at least upset with them. All right. Let me see. We say another brother says, interesting. I didn't know Arabs were on the coast coaching Africans while European invaders were pulling up. Okay. And then we have another. This is another brother says, that's true. They brought their version. We had ours first. There became more popular due to conquest and racism. So in the East, our family is following the ritualistic form of Arabic culture and habits, not the principles of Islam learned in ancient Nubia and Kemet by the prophets that brought it back to the deserts. In attempts to civilize the polytheism of the region to levels he saw on his travels as a caravan leader into the Nuria and Upper Kemet. All right, so let me see another post we see here. Another brother added in to say almost everybody got a piece of the slavery pie, even of the Africans then and now. All right, so let me go ahead and stop my screen share there. Okay. So again, just wanting to bring further history, further context, and further aspects as we look at some of the religious practices that we are familiar with, and those that we may not be so familiar with. And when we talk about some of the origins of these religious practices and from which they came, all right, and the variations that have developed since, all right. So we always want to make sure we can go back to our roots, family, to the essence of things from which they came, and be able to pull from that, because to the victor goes the spoils, all right. And so those who are, um, in uh, the benefit of conquer, they can rewrite different stories, different aspects of history, different aspects of culture, tradition, and of course that includes religious practices as well. All right, so we want to make sure that we are um, getting back to and maintaining our roots and our essence, and not really, in my opinion, getting caught up into others' interpretations of, how we should be convening, communing with our spiritual aspects, and being able to touch base with the Most High. All right. So, again, putting things in further historical perspectives. Okay. All right, family. Let me come. If there are any additions, let me come to the ethereal journalist for any tap-ins, any weigh-ins on the conversation thus far.
I'm straight on it, man. We get to the next topic. I'm good.
Okay. All right. All right. Not sure if you have any other additions, brother Born. Any weigh-ins on that
Yeah,
subject matter?
I'll see it. The sub-Saharan slave trade and the transatlantic slave trade. Well, the
Oh, your
sub-Saharan slave
volume is a
trade.
little bit low, brother Born.
I don't know. Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Shit. All right. Yeah, the sub-Saharan slave trade and the transatlantic slave trade are still happening right now. You know, the sub-Saharan slave trade, they would say it was 1,000 years ago. It's still happening right now. It's still happening all over the African continent, and the transatlantic slave trade is still happening right now. I want folks to just be mindful. They might go to 1619 or, whatever the case may be. They might say, oh, 1865, 1867. It's still happening right now. It's still people being taken and sold right now. Uh, People still being hung, as we just saw. All kinds of things are still happening. So I just wanted to be mindful of what's happening. Like they could just snatch your children up off of the streets. They can snatch your loved ones and put them in prison. You understand? Like, so just being mindful of like the current context of what's actually happening. Uh, like we look at it like it's isolated, and all of our stories are congruent. They all run together. So just wanted to posit that real quick. And as far as that video with the Arabs, I don't even want to get started. You understand what I'm saying? I don't even want to get started with that junk. You see what I'm saying? Most of the cats running around, uh,
Okay.
trying their best to emulate our captors on every level. I think we always pick the worst people to emulate versus the best people to emulate in regards to history. So if you got a fez on your head, I want you just to be mindful that fez, that kufi, that turban. You understand? Any of those things, be mindful of the historic implications and what it is and how these things are corrupted by people who were seeking power and people who were seeking that at the behest of our people. So I just yield with that. Cap.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you for that addition, brother knowledge. All right. Let me share my screen one more again. Okay. Oh, I see. I got. Well, let me bring it, Sister Empress, back in. And okay, boom. And let me share my screen one more again. All right. And give a ancestral, divine ancestral shout out to our excellent black scholar, Dr. Amos Wilson. To conquer people, you must destroy the love they have for one another. All right, Dr. Amos Wilson, historian, author extraordinaire. Okay, and so, just want to shout him out, raise him up. All right, and give him the triple salutes. Okay, and passing on January the 14th. All right, and born January the 23rd. All right, so shout out to
February
Dr.
23rd.
Amos. Excuse me, February 23rd. Thank you for that correction. Um, Shout out again, divine salutes to Dr. Amos Wilson. All right. Hopefully, we're still able to take some of this information. We could continue to take this information and be able to apply it from our past to our present and to continue to build towards our future. So, one of the messages there was we have to continue to develop love for ourselves and love for one another, family. All right, it is of the utmost of importance. Again, to conquer a people, you must destroy the love they have for one another. All right, a famous quote by our ancestor, Dr. Amos Wilson. All right, who gave us a plethora of information as it pertains to literature, and study materials for us to continue to break through some of the constructs of colonization that has permeated our minds. All right, still to this day. All right. Let me go ahead and stop my screen share there. Let me come back to the EtheReal journalist. Any quick additions that you all may have? All right, come over to the EtheReal journalist. Any additions, family, for our ancestor, Dr. Amos Wilson?
I second that. Triple salute to ancestor Amos Wilson. I second that. He was a great person that we need to definitely continue to acknowledge and recognize his great contributions to our culture, our history, and to our people in general. So triple salutes.
Indeed, I say.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments. I was supposed to do a broadcast on that yesterday. I have to do that soon. Him and Dr. Bobby Eugene Wright are born about 6 days apart. So, 6 days from now, or 5 days from now, Dr. Bobby Eugene Wright, uh, those two were very critical in the forming of the National Association of Black Psychologists, and both of them met with mysterious deaths as well. So, again, neocolonialism is a thing as well, and the black bourgeoisie, although look non-threatening, they can be very deadly in cases. So just being mindful of that. So that National Association of Black Psychologists came out as a response to the American Psychological Association's assessment on Black people in the year of 1968, too. So just being mindful of that year and what transpired in that year, and what their original situations and stances were versus whatever they got going on, currently. So Dr. Eugene Wright was posthumously named president in 1980 of that organization. So Dr. Amos Wilson and Dr. Eugene Wright, along with some others that we love and revere, were associated with that organization in regards to that. And just wanted to posit that real quick in regards to these two men in particular. They were African men who happened to be dealing in the realm of psychology. They were African first. So we can honor them as who they are and how they presented themselves and their long-standing commitment to the restoration of the Black mind. Dr. Bobby Eugene Wright said you can't use white definitions to solve Black problems. And he also said blood debt should be answered in blood. So I want to be real clear in regards to these two divine men. May our ancestors honor them and uplift them, and may we continue on the work on the ground that's necessary to achieve liberation.
All right. Yes, indeed. Much appreciated. Thank you for the addition, uh, brother knowledge. All right. Any other additions? I'm not sure if you want to weigh in, Sister Empress. If not, then we will move to our next clip for this evening. All right. All right, let me share my screen one more again, family. Okay. All And I'm gonna play this quick clip. GPS pioneer Gladys West passes away. All right, ancestral divine salutes to Mama West. Let's get into it.
And GPS pioneer and mathematician Gladys West has died. Her calculations helped produce extremely accurate modeling of the Earth's shape, laying the foundation for modern global positioning system technology. West was born in rural Virginia during segregation. In 1956, she was hired as a computer programmer at a Navy base in Virginia, where she was one of only 4 Black employees. Her work went large figures of the era. Despite being considered the mother of GPS, West said she still preferred using a paper map when driving. Gladys West was 95 years old. Wait just a second, we have one more thing to share.
We want to say a heartfelt thank you for watching and supporting.
All right, let me stop my screen share there. All right. All right, so shout out to Mama West, GPS pioneer, mathematician extraordinaire.
Now, how many of us knew that?
All right. All right, let me open the
How
floor. Let me
many
open the
of
floor.
us
Any
knew
any
that?
questions or comments on All right. So, again, the importance, family, of us being the curators, making sure we're maintaining control of our own image, history, and narrative, family. Making sure we continue to educate ourselves and one another as we continue to edify our ancestors, those who have come before us, and we're pioneers, and to be able to combat against some of the false narratives that you see a lot of the times from mainstream media. All right, so this is just a snapshot of some of our greatness, right? Some of our excellence, some of our genius. All right, so never forget, family, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. All right, because we can keep we can keep these rolling for the duration. You know what I'm saying? Back to back to back about those pioneers, heroes, and sheroes, you know, of that has put forth Black history as we continue to celebrate Black History Month, Black History 100th, and Black History 365. All right, every day we're making Black history. All right, any other weigh-ins, family? I'm bringing it to you all before we continue on. All right. All right, family. So with that being said, let me move to our next and shout out and triple salutes uh, and divine uh, credits to our sister and rest in paradise uh, to Mama Gladys. All right. All right, family. With that being said, let us continue on. All right, so we're going to let me touch base on what is going on. Matter of fact, I got a throwback for you all, and let's touch base on it. And this is getting into current events, politics, political analysis. All right, family. Okay. Oh no, excuse me. My apologies. Let me come first to emerging and developing technologies. All right. I go ahead and share my screen one more again. Where is it at? Okay, share my screen. All right. We had to, go back and revisit. The story came out in early January. Okay, And so we have this teenager here, finished high school at 8, earned a PhD in quantum physics at 15, now wants to build AI enhanced superhumans. All right, this teenage prodigy just earned a PhD in quantum physics at 15. Now he is diving into AI and human biology with one goal in mind, to re-engineer life itself. Okay. 15-year-old doctoral graduate, if not in itself a scientific development, is a human milestone, occasionally published, often exceptional but separate from the process of research and discovery. When graduate turns to artificial intelligence and biomedicine with a stated aim of creating superhumans, the distinction becomes less clear. All right, so we are looking at the upcoming or the up and coming generations, and some of the things we're looking at as far as development of AI. And the teenager was describing the one thing, wanting this to develop superhumans, family, which is something that has been in the talks for some time now. We've had aspects and elements of computers that have human brain tissue, right? Or computers that are being developed utilizing human brain tissue and cells. All right, we have the CRISPR technology with being able to do gene manipulation, all right, editing, to be able to have what is known as designer babies. Okay, we have the geoengineering of foods, all right, in similar ways, in similar cases, all right. So looking at the way technology is moving forward, how it's developed, how it's being developed, and how it's being applied, family. Um, what are some of the implications of what we may be seeing in the very near future? As transhumanism is becoming a very much real thing and an ongoing topic of discussion. All right, family. So what say you? What say you as far as the development of technology, how it's moving forward? Um, the guardrails or lack thereof. We have AI that is developing very rapidly, and aspects of transhumanism, superhumanism, um, humanoid developments, cybernetics that are attached to or being added to the human body. We have nanotechnologies and things of that nature. All right, so let me come to the theory journalist. What's your thoughts on these developments, family?
Of course, we talked about this in several shows before. They're just trying to duplicate or replicate what they know. Most of us who understand internal technology, it within us, can be able to produce the same things. They're just pretty much copycatting what is already in existence within our own DNA, our own DEA. That's why they study genes, genomics, and all that other stuff to try to figure out, to get the codes, to extract the codes from what's already built inside us internally. That's why I call it internal technology. It's already within the carbonated, melanated beings who truly are in tune to that frequency of the Most High and the universe and the star systems and everything else that surrounds us, the Earth, 7.83, they call it the Schumann resonance. They want to name it after some guy a European dude, but that Schumann resonance was never called that. It was always our connection and our tune and our frequency that was always in touch with Nana Earth. And of course, the highest frequency that you could live under is 9.63. Add those numbers up and then take those last two numbers, and then what are you going to get? You're going to get a 9. So when you operate at the highest frequencies of the universe, the only way they could tap into that element of universal technology or internal technology is to study what's going on within our technology, our bodies. That's why they utilize a lot of these things. You know, we done talked about it. I'm not going to go into too much discussion tonight because I know we're getting ready to end the show pretty soon. But these are the things that already exist within us, not without us. They're just learning it because they've been investigating what's going on with our frequencies that come from our melanin and our carbonated frequencies that we already have naturally because we come from the primordial peoples. So with that being said, it's all tricknology, but they ain't tricking nobody that is actually those things that they're actually putting out here now. We don't need to learn it. We don't need to study it in a book. We are it. And with that being said, I land.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you for that addition, Brother Pollinator. Let me come back to the floor. Do of our dear journalists want to tap in and weigh in on that subject matter?
Brother Pollinator hit it. He already got it.
All right,
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to circle back, family, but I would be remiss. I have to hit this real quick, so I'm gonna take a quick segue back into Black Facts. Talking about once again what we were talking about with ancestor, the illustrious Dr. Amos Wilson, and being able. The importance of us loving one another. One of the things I want to touch on this evening, family, is something I really cannot wrap my brain around as far as when I do critical analytical thinking, and just looking at some of what we're dealing with presently, with the Willie Lynch type of theories or the applications of it. The Willie Lynch chip, as Sister Empress describes it, as what's going on presently, and this. What I'm looking at as obvious divide and conquer type of mentalities, but it is being utilized effectively still to this day, where we're warring with one another based on different factions or aspects of tribalism, when all in the while the powers that be are looking at all of us as lowly niggas. So for us to be fighting one another, and of course, as pertains to different aspects of culture, when you want to get into heritage and identity, on those aspects and levels, absolutely there's a place for it. But to be having some of these fights on the main stage, right? When there is, as they say, bigger fish to fry, right? We can kind of settle some of our differences that are minute, family, that are minute, and also that these are that are being orchestrated, right? As we look at again, like the Willie Lynch type of theory, where you're pitting one against the other. We're looking at Africans, and I remember the term from way back in the day, African booty scratchers, right? And African, and that's what we were taught. That's the kind of indoctrination that we were getting. That Africa was dirty, or impoverished in all areas. When you see a lot of it being portrayed in the mainstream, you're looking at videos of starving children and flies around their eyes and things of this nature. When you look at modern Africa today, you're seeing super cities that parallel, and in some cases that eclipse what they have in the West and in some of these European countries, right? But those imageries, that type of narrative, you don't really see on the main stage, on the main stage and in the mainstream, right? And vice versa. A lot of the Africans are taught, quote unquote African Americans are shifty or lazy, so on and so forth. You have different aspects in the Caribbean countries where you're looking at Puerto Ricans, where they're not acknowledging their African ancestry. They're trying to be able to genetically phase out the black gene, where you see them, the type of colorism that takes place, the social dynamics that take place with darker Puerto Ricans or Afro Latinos. You see that also within Cuba. All across the world, family. You look at somebody like Sammy Sosa, who clearly, has bleached his skin. This aspect of self hatred and this, approximation to the Caucasian that makes us, feel more empowered or more valued. And some of these uh, aspects of colonialization, colonized mindsets that still have us hating ourselves and hating one another. Let me jump into this clip real quick. I just want to give you some background context, and then we can have a little bit more of a discussion before we jump back into our current subject matter of development technologies. Let's check out this clip really quick, family.
I'm Haitian. Why? Where you from? What's your background? You American? Dirty black American?
Wait, what?
Huh? Huh? What?
Wait, what'd you
American?
say?
Black American? What?
No. Hold on. You said dirty black American.
You heard that? You just asked me what I said. I did.
Why you say that?
Because that's what y'all are. Dirty black American. She just said that? I did. A dirty black American. I sure did. Because that's what y'all are.
Just chill out on that dirty black American comment. So, like,
I'm sorry. You really took offense to that. I apologize.
anybody would take offense to that.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't.
Why you said that though? I'm saying, why would you even fix your lips and say that though? I'm confused.
Because that's just my experience. Like, it's my experience. So I'm gonna speak on it. But I apologize.
It's your experience?
Yeah, so I apologize.
What experience you had?
If I offended you.
You accept the apology?
No.
How? Like, that's super disrespectful. Like,
She did say it's dirty black Haitians too, though.
nah, I would never fix my lips to say, and I know some dirty black Haitians. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would never fix my lips to say dirty black. I wouldn't generalize, like, you know what I'm saying? So, and now it is, bro. That's that Caribbean.
It's not.
And this is why we be having the diaspora wars, because the dumb shit words. Remember that other Haitian, bro? Remember the other Haitian shit?
Care about nationalities. It's all about the personality to me.
You just said
No. I'm sorry. I can't do Americans. I need somebody with culture. I'm sorry.
Black Americans got culture. Americans got culture. You rolling. It must be a Haitian thing for sure. Like, y'all, I don't know what the issue is.
Thing, and I won't say that y'all don't have culture. Like, y'all have the things that y'all do.
We are the culture. Like,
okay. Y'all have the things that y'all do. Just
we are the culture. That's
just
it.
like, okay, so then Caribbeans are a culture too.
No, y'all have a culture. We are the culture. There's two different things. Like.
It's not.
Let me stop my screen share there, family. Let me stop my screen share there. Okay. So yeah, let me come to you. Let me jump in really quick once again, because and I see people utilizing these type of clips, these type of narratives to further the division, right? To further say, well, this is why, we have to admonish, we had to put down, other, cultures, so on and so forth, they not us, and, so on and so forth, really fueling more of what the brother was describing as the diasporic wars, right? Which is nonsensical, once again, to me, because we actually need one another in order to really overcome the global type of neo-colonialization and imperialism, right? That is affecting all of us. So for us to be bickering amongst one another, other black folks, you know what I'm saying? Because, I was in the Caribbean while you were in the United States, looking at our lineage all coming from the same peoples, right? Whether it be cousins, so on and so forth, however you want to frame it. But and it's all having the same experience as far as globally, right? As far as internationally, with aspects and with systems of oppression, of degradation, of active war and genocide. Let me bring it to you all, family. What say you?
Knowledge born. I know you're gonna hit that.
What Dr. Empress at? Dr. Empress, I know you got something. Stop playing with me, Doc. Come on. I know you got something. Yeah. I'm gonna
Drag
yield.
me into that mess.
I'm gonna go right after Doc. Come on, Doc.
You gotta drag me into that mess. That's a bunch of mess right there.
It's
But
a
okay.
mess. It's a mess. I definitely wanted to point it out. You know what I mean? Because we looking real messy online. We looking real messy, family. And then we think it's cool, pointing the finger and saying, see, this is why we need to, war against that faction. That's why we need to war against this faction, so on and so forth. Instead of saying, damn, this is how really messed up we are mentally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Across the board. You know what I mean? That we are taking on these narratives like we truly believe them.
I remember when you showed that the Reza Islam clips, right? And I was explaining media in theater, right? The media in the theater here that's happening is another Inception sort of mode, right? Pardon me for cutting in, Cap.
You good. You
got it. When you look at it, people know where the cameras are. They know where the cameras are. So they're there, they're looking at the setup. And when you're genuine, you don't care whether the camera is on you or not. When you're not, you know where the cameras are, and it's contrived. This is contrived to elicit an emotional response, right? Wow, brother El Pollinator. Root chakra elicitation, like they're soliciting an emotional response for somebody to have confirmed bias, right? That's a psychological term.
There you go. Yes,
so
sir.
Confirmation bias, this is what you was looking for. You understand what I'm saying? You're already going in there perceived in a way. So when we start talking about media and stuff like that, this is what I mean. Like this is the goal of media, right? So these people who are benefiting from this have the people who are being exploited by it think that these are their own thoughts and ideas. You understand what I'm saying? Like they think that they're thinking their own thoughts. So this lady's sitting up there, and how she's sitting in a mode of superiority. She's sitting in a mode of superiority, right? So when they flash to her, she's not bothered by what's going on. She's like, oh, you offended by that? That offended you? You understand? Like, so again, further, oh, I apologize. I guess. You understand what I'm saying? If you got offended, I apologize. But she's not apologizing. So in her own mind, how she's making this up in her own mind, she thinks that this is her own thoughts. This is the only way you see acceptable. You're not going to be acceptable in the opposite kind of way. So you're being presented in a kind of way for you to look at black women, not to be looking at your enemies. You're going to be looking at black women in this kind of way with this vitriol, regardless of where they're from. Then you got the brother in the cut with the shades on, with the head wrap on his head, like, nah, we are the culture. You understand what I'm saying? So now it looks like there's some sort of war, and he's saying diaspora war, but he has a gender war right there. So he's chiming in from the gender war perspective, and then they flash to the other sister that's over there, and she like, oh, long as they not American, I gotta have somebody that has some culture. You understand? So the mind of the mass media manipulation through these tactics, you spew these Manila talking points, because we over there on Facebook. We spill these Manila talking points as if they're our own. That's how powerful media is. You'll hear something so much that you start espousing these things. You start espousing these things as if they're your own, and you really think you're making impact with that. So the diasporan wars are thousands of years old. They ain't new from right now. They're not new from right now. But in this little clip, this little bite-sized clip that's so layered conceptually,
what is the mind of one who does not understand the power of media and media manipulation and the social media apparatus going to do with that?
Right.
They're going to become more confirmed in their bias, and they're going to respond with something vitriol. Because I've seen some of the groups, they use that clip. They was like, dirty Black American. You understand what I'm saying? What kind of Black Americans? Dirty Black Americans. She said that's just been her experience. Experience with whom?
Right.
Right? So he was trying to get her to further elaborate and expound, and she didn't.
She couldn't.
You understand what I'm saying? Like just being mindful of the little cat and mouse sport and play, how we do this push-pull type of situation. We can understand what it is, but if we aren't teaching it to the onlooker, they don't know what they're looking at. This is just supposed to be entertaining. So this lady on here saying dirty Black American, she's like, oh, I'm Haitian, right? With a New York accent. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? Like these are the psychological mind jobs that you presented with. You see what I'm saying? You in there with Kim Lee's hair, right? Hair and nails, and both of you are saying this. So if we look at the low-hanging fruit, we immediately go for those things, right? We don't go at the whole entire world that's benefiting off of this Black suffrage that they're showing, and why it's on constant rotation. Constant rotation. You see what I'm saying? So just being mindful from a psychological perspective and what the goal of media is in the propaganda war. You see what I'm saying? Because if we could have you going back and forth with one another, we don't care nothing about this brother that's getting hung from the street. You understand what I'm saying? We don't care about these organs that are being harvested or these people that's being hunted down, because you don't care anything about it. You don't care nothing about it, because what you assign to it is whatever the schema that you have in your mind. So if you have a schema in your mind about Haitian people, damn that liberated zone that they created. You understand what I'm saying? These byproducts of this aftermath to make sure you'll never be presented as a powerful people gets cast to the side. So the neo-colonists are doing the job in the bidding of the colonists who are pushing them out and who are funding them. So there's no happenstance in psychological warfare where your enemy is going to show his hand. So, if this Doc was talking about the Willie Lynch tip, we don't have a common experience, Cap. We don't. We don't have, with the Caribbean, we don't have a common experience. The servitude that we experience here in the hells of North America is unlike anything that's ever been created in history. So a very unique experience. So you could own property, you could get married, your family was intact, they wasn't sold, so they don't have the same experience. So culturally, they could still practice their particular ways of life. We did not have that here. We did not have that here. We had to do that in secret. They could do it in public. So we had to be mindful of these conditions when we strive to put everybody together in the box. Everybody didn't experience the same things that we experienced. So we have our own connection and unique experience in that admixture that was created based off of that plantation experience or experiment, in this experiment that we call America, that we're still being experimented on. So from the Tuskegee to present, but the plantation was its own experience. You understand? So we got to be mindful of those things when we're sitting with people who haven't had those experiences, and it shows. It shows epigenetically, and you cannot hide that. So we really got to be mindful of that, and how, the ones who benefit from us being in this position show this cat and mouse game where we do this push, pull, tug of war type of situation in regards to our experience. So I yield right there.
So
profound breakdown.
So since Brother Knowledge insisted upon kind of pushing me into this conversation with that topic, I'm going to oblige you. And say this. Well, here's a couple of things. First, I'm going to connect some of the black dots in two ways. One, from the basic socio-political, and also from the metaphysical. because I think here on Ethereal Journey, it's important that we really highlight some of those areas. I think people are expecting that from us, and we need to bring it to them. So with that said, okay, this is Black History Month, but I'm going to give folk a name that I'm sure all of you are familiar with, but I'm sure there's some who are not. And that name is Dr. Delbert Blair. Now, why would I mention him? So, you know, some of what we're talking about is related to some other types of behaviors or situations. But here's the other thing I want to connect with everyone. His actual born day was February the 13th. So as we highlight folks born or made transition in February, there he is, Dr. Delbert Blair. When you talk about one of our top metaphysicists and other kinds of areas, certainly you got to talk about him. And again, for those who are not familiar with him, it really would be in your best interest to look him up, look at some of the work. His website is still up, even though it's very different from what it was, but it is still there. But nevertheless, his work is you can't beat it. I mean, you just can't beat it. Now, to fast forward. So, going back to the clip. Well, this is why MWM is so important in this day and age. And yeah, I got to say it, and I know people don't want to hear it or some, but too bad. Because where we're at right now is, you know, listen, we're not asking folks to agree with everything or anything really, but if it does, you know, fit you or resonates in your being, then cool, here we are. The rest of you folks, guess what? Kick rocks. So now, moving right along. It is so important that as we proceed, the Black woman, and I'm going to say the original primordial mother of not only civilization, I'm going to go as far as the fate of the universe, but I'm not going to go that far tonight. But we've got to make that declaration, because unfortunately there comes a time when folks got to get spanked. Now, y'all know this is true. You know, when you have children, oftentimes they have to be spanked one way or the other. So here we have mindsets that are now asserting certain things and doing it in a manner that is just so destructive. But being sent often by the enemy, be it, shall we say, physically or, you know, overtly, or be it metaphysically and subconsciously. Now we get to the ethereal realm here. But some of these folks are just players. And a lot of times they don't even know the game they're playing. They're just, you know, part of the, you know, manipulation of whatever. So in this day and age, we talk about war, but we often talk about it in the context of, you know, the well-known enemy, or what I call the unnatural enemy. But we do not talk about the war games that are also being played. And some of these people who are trying to, and again, we've seen this over and over with classism, with the field Negro or the house Negro or whatever category you want to create. We've seen all this before, just different flavors of it, different variations. But the point is, these folks want a position, and not just, you know, in a professional manner. They want in a position of approval. Y'all remember those things, right? And they want a position where the way the game is played, you have to compete. This is, you know, America, you must compete. That's what it's about here. So now we have people who feel the need that in order for them to advance, now this is what the enemy has put into their brains or into their spirits, in order for them to now get a piece of the pie, they got to work on creating a further demise for us. And how else a better way than to have somebody to kind of look like us do it? Y'all seen this over and over again. This is just an upgraded version. Now, so again, with MWM, Black women asserting we are representing and are essentially the mother of civilization. Now, what does that mean? It has to be defined now. What does it mean? What are we talking about? What's the essences of that? So while other people are saying, well, you all don't have a culture, we, meaning those of us who understand the dynamic of being the mother, we could say, you're not even civilized. So you can't even talk to us about culture because you don't even understand civilization. And we're the mother of that. So we can tell you that. You see what I'm saying here? See, there has to be statements made that can't be disfused or refused. And MWM is in a primary position to do so. Why? Who else have done what we've done? You see? So we can say something that nobody else can say all across the board. Other people can just they can just talk. We can say, this is what we did. We made history, not just Black history, not just Caribbean history, not just African history, we made world history. Now, y'all want to compete with that? Come on with it. So what I'm saying is, we have to up the ante now all across the board, because the war that we're familiar with in terms of the system, and I remember a brother Knowledge playing the clip from Doc saying about, we talk about the system. Well, y'all know I love Doc, so I'm not trying to dispute what he said, but I have to add a few sidebars and say that we know on the physical level and the spiritual too, who and what our enemy is. But because many of our people are not on that level of comprehension, there has to be a tangible, and the tangible has to be able to be presented in such a way to be able to see how that thing actually works. So from that frame of reference, we're talking about systems. The system of incarceration, the system of from the womb to the prison, the system of gentrification. See, these are things that you can identify, you can show the evidence, and unfortunately, again, for some of our people, we can talk to it blue in the face or red, whatever, and it still is not going to get it. But for some, when they start seeing certain statistics or documents or whatever, then it's like, oh, okay. So my point is that we have to be very holistic and well-rounded. If, in fact, we're very serious about fighting the war with an S on different levels. So now, going back to the chick, that sister. So needless to say, because Black women here in the States, and I'm talking about, as some might call, the foundational Black women, because we've gotten so goofy. And yeah, I said we, right? I'm a part of that. Not that I'm goofy, but I'm a part of the original Black folks here. So Black women have gotten so goofy that now these other women that are goofier are us. Now they're attacking all of us, but be real clear, the way the game is now being played, put the women against each other. Why? Because now you come out again, mother. Where's children will get certain kinds of indicators from? Mommy, right? So if you got mommy saying this stuff out loud and regurgitating it and putting all that kind of energy out there, what do you think those children that's around them people going to be saying and doing? So this is a very serious thing, family, that we better start looking at in some other kinds of ways, in a more microscopic kind of way, because this is so multi-layered now that if we don't see the bigger picture, I'm telling you, this is going to be a hellition for the next generation. And lastly, I want to bring another note in case I think somebody mentioned it earlier, but let's go back to Dr. Bobby Wright. Because there is some behaviors here that psychopathically that definitely needs to be examined. So again, we have enough information, enough insight, enough courage, and definitely enough warriorship to take care of all of this, y'all. So it's entertaining. We can watch it, but we know what we're gonna do.
Splash. Definitely. I'm gonna hit it real quick. Based on what I was observing in the clip, we're descending into the primitive at this stage. In other words, we're now becoming the cave dwellers, and the roles are being reversed, or the script is being flipped, and they're the gods and goddesses. And they're the ones that have the higher technology, because they're showing us through, whether it's going to outer space or, doing all the other high technological things that are advancing in the society, which do not have our names behind it. So we're delving and descending into the primitive, and they're sort of being looked upon as gods, as opposed, just like they put their images, names, and likenesses on historical biblical figures or ancient figures that wrote these things. Now they're putting it on a face that is not of the Shemitic blacks or the Kemites or any of the ones that they perpetrated, to think that now we can just flip the script, role reversal. So what I saw in that video was just pretty much a descending into the primitive, and that's what's happening. There was a destiny swap, and it took a lot of manipulation. It took a lot of changing the faces of who we were and the ancient things that we wrote, that they took and reversed it, and now they became it through a destiny swap. That's why they got all of the ancient historical artifacts are right there in the Vatican. When they go and pray on their knees, they bow down to the Black Madonna, because they know at the end of the day, they learned it, they stole it, and then they just took it and flipped it, and now they became it. So we're delving into and we're descending into the primitive, while they're being the ones looked upon like the Pope. I'm the God on earth. I'm the Godfather. I can go anywhere around the world and be worshipped as such. So we screwed up because our inner technology has been jammed. The frequency that we had connected to Mother Earth, Mother Nature, the mother of the universe, and all of the other divine beings and ancestors has been disconnected. And that's what you're currently seeing right now. That's why these conversations are entertaining, like you said, Sister Chi, because they are ignorant. They have no knowledge of self. They have no internal technology. And just like the thing that's flashing on the screen here with the lady, in the position, you can see what that's about. That's about the chakra system. Where she's at, where all the stuff is at the lower part, that's where they at. They all the way down to the bottom at the root chakra shit level. And they're not going to ever reach past that heart chakra. So I hate to say it, some of us are not going to make it as we transition from the 3D to the 5D. And by the way, the man who, what's his name, Macklemore, he passed away, the brother who actually was one of the co-founders of the Fifth Dimensions with Marilyn McCoo and Billy, whatever. I think it was Billy McCoo too. Was that his name? I forget. So they're not going to reach the fifth dimension. So they're going to be stuck like Chuck in the muck in a broke down truck. And guess what? I'm not going to rescue their asses. I yield.
But Al, here's a quick question, and it's really for everyone in this. Why do you think these people feel that they have the capability to do what they're now doing? In other words, they're now blatant, aggressive, and just just right in our faces. Why do you think that they think? Well, not think. I mean, you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this happening right now?
Just like old Rome did when they had everybody put up in the Colosseum while the politicians or the politricksters were behind the scenes plotting the rise of Rome or even the fall of Rome, because Caligula and them just came in and just messed up everything because they didn't want to fight no more. And the Germanic tribes and all the other tribes, the Vikings and every other tribe that they hired as mercenaries, just turned on the Roman Empire. And that's why the Roman Empire really fell because the men in Rome did not want to actually fight any wars no more. They wanted to hire mercenaries such as the Vandals and the Vikings and all of the Germanic tribes that really pretty dismantled the whole empire of Rome, while the people were in the Colosseum being entertained by bread, wine, and circus. That's what we're seeing right now. But we're the ones that's doing the bread, wine, and circus while they're plotting and planning how to go underground when the sun go crazy on their ass. See, and we still out here as the same people, the same brothers and sisters that are the ones that are distracting the primordial people that come from those bloodlines and lineages, and we're lost. And a lot of them are not going to make it. They're not going to make the transition because they took on the role of the oppressor, as opposed to knowing that we are of the bloodlines and lineages of the primordials. And that's where we're seeing with these women and men doing these type of things like you're seeing in that clip. So I don't know if that answers your question or if you need to go a little bit, delve into a little bit more deeper with your commentary.
Well, no, actually, I'm going to simplify it and simplify it in a way where it kind of brings it right to home and right to our faces and right to our communities. And it is this. So my examination and analyzation and interaction even with some of these folks has led me to come to this, or at least this is one of the conclusions, and here it is. So here we are, FDAs or whatever you want to call it, original Black folks, whatever you want to call it. Here we are for decades have been talking about freedom and justice and so forth and so on. Now, so with that said, let us take a good look at the efforts to literally build our own institutions. And I'm talking about particularly since after the so-called civil rights era, right? So now, for the past 50 to 60 years, the efforts for us as a people in this land to literally be more self-sufficient, more governing. Let me tell you how the rest of the world, and again, this is from talking to some of these folks, are seeing this, that things that could be accomplished, should be accomplished, was not and is not being accomplished. That while we have all these folks with all this money, billionaires, millionaires, or whatever, the effort for us to have our own, and not just in the manner to keep capitalism or to keep the enemy riding high, but to really help our people. Where's it at? So now, folks are looking at that going like, I mean, it's not like it's not some trying to do that, obviously, but in the comparative analysis, we have more people with doctor's degrees. We got more people with bachelor's, master's, and just on that level of it. We got all this other skill-based stuff going on, but yet when you examine how many folks in our communities nationwide are putting forth effort to even educate our own children, we still in the 21st century are using other people's ideas, concepts, methodologies, and everything else to educate our own children. Now, these messages, these subtle but yet very clear messages about some things, is also now triggering other kinds of insults and dynamics. So yeah, I agree with you, Al, and what you just said about Rome and all that. But again, right here in the hood, this is what's also going on. These people are saying, you niggas have been here doing A, B, and E or C. You know, you got these other people here doing all this stuff. And again, believe me, I know, you know, we know the other dynamics to that. I'm just saying to you, the perception that others are seeing. And based on some of that, they figure like, oh, this stuff is up the grass.
Right. And see, the parallel I was making concerning Rome going into hedonism and all that other stuff, and then how allowing other outside forces that had the manpower and the armies to overrun them, same thing is happening with us. We're into hedonism. We're into bread, wine, and circus. We're into entertaining. All the people you said, all the famous people, or all the people that got multi-millions of dollars, they're part of the agent provocateur system of keeping that bread, wine, and circus mentality in our people so that we will not continue to fight for what we know is self-determination, progress in our communities and things like that, because we love entertainment more than we love self-progress, our collective progress. We love entertaining each other. You know, and I can play that game too, because I play that game right now. Y'all know I play that game right now. I can entertain you. But I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna plant some seeds, because I'm gonna pollinate something in your brain so that it can blow your brains up, so that you can come out that daggone stupor you in and wake the hell up. So the bottom line is, as long as we're caught up in this entertaining portion, you got the whole dudes behind the curtain, you know, working the controls, and then they're putting up this smoke and mirror stuff and blowing smoke out of it, and that's us now. We're the smoke blowers. We're the smoke and mirrors right now, and they don't need to do it anymore, because we're the ones that have taken on that reversal of the roles, because we've lost ourselves. We don't even know where to find ourselves, and now a lot of us are hiding from ourselves, and they're not admitting that. Houston, we got a problem. Philly, we got a problem. New York, we got a problem. DC, we got a problem. They're not admitting to that. And that's why we are in delusion and illusion, and we've taken it on full throttle. And the Matrix is winning right now. But they're getting ready to lose. Trust me. Trust me that it's getting ready to, the sheep are getting ready to be separated from the goats. The remnant is rising. The people who understand there's some wheat in our group and there's some tares. And a lot of the wheat is very far in between, a few good men and women, but the tares are many. They look like wheat, but they are not. So that's where we at right now. There's a dividing line being drawn by the universe that says, identify these people for what they are and stop playing games with them and stop entertaining them. And that's where we at right now. The universe is causing this thing to happen. That's why, like we say, we got to talk ethereally now, because we can see it every day. The people are dropping like flies. You know, the young brother you just said from the Wu-Tang Clan earlier, 52 years old. Not saying that he was a bad person or a good person. I don't know the guy personally, but the meat suits and avatars is checking up out of here at a younger age. So we have to start looking at these things in a more ethereal level to say something's happening in the universe where ain't nobody leasing these daggone meat suits gonna get away with anything. And that's where we at right now. So I just wanted to add that into the mix. I yield.
All right. Yes, indeed, family. Spirited conversation and dialogue, more that we need to have. And, looking towards, what are some of those solutions as we begin to move forward, And I think part of that is realizing and recognizing that we are being played, right? We are being toyed with, and we are being utilized as puppets, towards our own demise, right? We're being pitted against one another, and so that the powers that be do not have to do the work themselves. All right, and we see this in many different arrays, in many different ways, and many different applications. And this is just one of them, family. So again, let's not get caught up with the okey doke. Let's not continue to be hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray, family. All right, unity is the only solution. All right, unify or die. All right, so we can continue to play these games if you want to. Meanwhile, folks are, getting ready to push the button. All right, and we in the 11th hour. We're looking at possible wars across the world, and nuclear disaster awaits while we're bickering about who's blacker or who has more culture or whatever the nonsense is that comes in for the day, because attention is the new currency, and because of that, people are willing to do anything to get that 5 minutes of fame, to get that spotlight, and the majority of people have become attention whores, and that's what we're seeing being displayed amongst a lot of these social media feeds, so on and so forth. Do anything to get clicks, likes, and follows. All right, but here with Ethereal Journey, we're going to make sure we're calling it for what it is. All right, not falling victim. Okay, and make sure that you all are informed as well. All right, with that being said, we got a couple more clips we're going to play, and then we're going to get up out of here for this evening, family. I want to shift gears really quickly back into some of the aspects of where things are heading technologically. All right, so we're looking at developing and emerging technologies. We're going to jump into that. We're going to do a couple of clips on ethereal inspiration, and then we're going to get up out of here, family. And hopefully, you all can take a little something with you to help you in your ethereal journey. All right, with that being said, let me come to let me share this next piece. Let me share this for you, family. And this is one of the ways, and I wanted to get to another brother, but I'll say that for next episode because we want to talk about food sovereignty, family. In our next edition, and the importance of I believe the brother name is Boy, brother. Forget his first name, but he's been championing black farmers. All right, brother Boy. Okay, and the billions of dollars that black farmers are owed, and some of our lineage and heritage that goes along with that family. The importance of being able to grow our own foods and how that is pertinent, fundamental to survival. To building any type of family, community, or a nation is the ability to uh, grow, that things which sustains you to provide food on a basic fundamental level, family. All right, so
His
shout
name
out to
is
Brother
John
Boy.
Boyd.
John Boy, yes, thank you
Right.
for that.
We've had his
All
wife
right.
on several occasions on New Day in the past years.
All right, excellent, excellent. So you're gonna bring you some more of that John Boyd a little bit later. I wanted to play a little bit today, but we, just sometimes you gotta let the spirit take you. You know what I'm saying? So we just letting it flow naturally. All right. With that being said, I use that to segue into this. Right. You see on your screen, family. New research says ultra processed foods are engineered more like cigarettes than food. Family. This is what uh you know the mainstream, this is what the industry, the food industry, is feeding you, is feeding us, family. It is on most shelves in the supermarkets. Researchers propose regulating ultra processed foods like tobacco, citing similar engineering for maximum biological reinforcement and addictive potential. Ultra processed foods are engineered for rapid dopamine delivery through refined carbs and fats, a combination almost non existent in nature. Both industries use similar tactics: dose optimization, quick delivery, sensory design, uh, ubiquitous availability, and misleading health claims. Proposed regulations include taxation, advertising restrictions, removing UPFS from schools and hospitals, and clearer processing labels. Minimal processed foods pose lower health risks. Long ingredient lists and unfamiliar chemicals named indicates ultra processed foods. Family. All right. So health is wealth, and we're going to continue to beat that drum. We want to focus on whole foods, those things that nature actually provides. All right. Want to stop the screen share there, family. Okay. So, um, let's be mindful about what we're putting in our mouths. All right. This is one of the ways or one of the main ways that we're being poisoned and coming up with all of these ailments and diseases. Okay. So, just because it's good does not mean it's good for you. And more, to get more in depth, it's designed to be that way. It's designed to, taste good and to also be bad for you. All right. Just to fuel other industries, such as the industrial pharmaceutical industry, right? To get more people on these drugs, right? And so instead of letting you know, hey, you know what? Perhaps you should put the sausages down, okay, and pick up some fruit. Instead of saying that, they're saying, "Hey, go ahead and pop this pill." All right, and it's going to give you some other type of ailment, some other type of side effect that we're going to prescribe you what another pill for. Okay, all right. So that most likely is going to have you addicted as well. All right. So let's be mindful, family, about what is going on, what's going into our bodies, how these things are advertised, and the need how they're being produced, and the need for us to be able to look at having a diet of whole foods, healthy foods, and to be able to produce our own foods to supply these things, be able to supply these things for ourselves, for our families, and for our communities at large. All right, one of the fundamentals of nation building. Okay, all right, family. Let me see. I don't know if y'all want to hit that real quick before, because I'm kind of rolling rapid fire. I don't want to lose too much of the audience, but letting it rock, letting it rock. Anybody have anything to add to that, family?
Well, let's keep it rolling. I'm good.
All right, all right. Anybody else want to add to that? Coming to the ethereal journalist. Any additions as far as that is concerned? Before I keep it rolling.
Nope, moving right along.
Okay, okay. All right. With that being said, family, let me come to. I just want to highlight this clip once again. We played it. We showed it before. I want to bring it back as far as developing emerging technologies. Our brother Roy Alela, a 25-year-old Kenyan engineer, invented Signio gloves that translate sign language into audible speech via Bluetooth, inspired by his 6-year-old niece, with 93% accuracy through a connected app. All right. So these gloves translate sign language into audible speech. Shout out to this engineer, this innovator, this creator, brother Roy Alela. All right. Developing and emerging technologies, family. All right. This is what we should be focusing on, right? Instead of, bickering, arguing, and talk about, who and who don't have culture. Like, I mean, let's be for real. It's ridiculous. Okay, while people are inventing, what I'm saying, innovating. All right, this is what the focus should be on. So again, don't be bamboozled, hoodwinked, and led astray, family. All right. Um, let me keep it rolling. Let me say, well, yeah. Any additions to that? While I keep the wheels rolling.
Keep the wheels turning.
Right, all right. Let's keep it popping. All right. Just want a couple more I want to hit before we get up out of here for this evening. All right, let me come once again. Once again, it's on. All right. Let me share that. Boom. All right. Now, because we get into the aspects right now, family, of ethereal inspiration. All right. This is coupled along with Black history. All right. So you get a twofer here. All right. So we want to come to highlighting. Shout out and triple salute to Dr. Jennifer Ellis, a senior cardiac surgeon at MedStar Heart Institute, and one of only 5 board certified Black female cardiothoracic surgeons in the U.S., a Yale and Johns Hopkins graduate, specializing in complex heart and lung procedures while mentoring the next generation. All right. Shout out to Dr. Jennifer Ellis. Shout out, shout out, shout out. All right. Let me come out of that. Okay. Continuing on. Boom. Did that one already? Okay. Okay. Continuing on. Boom. All right. So we showed y'all some on the other side. I just don't want to be remiss, because our young Black teenagers are also geniuses, and so I want to definitely make sure we highlight that, because we showed something a little bit earlier on the other side. Just to put things in the context about what's happening with this transhumanism. But let's talk about brother here, Muhammad, West Muhammad. All right. Youngest freshman in Copen State University history, pursuing a degree in cybersecurity engineering. All right. 14 years old. All right. Shout out to the brother. You know what I mean? Triple salute to our youth.
Oh,
brother
yeah,
West
definitely.
Muhammad.
Most definitely give him some props.
All right. All right. I got 2 more for you, family. We're going to get up out of here for this evening. Let me stop the screen share there. All right. Let me come back. Let me come back. Boom, boom. All right. All right. So, yep. Let me highlight our Black women. Let me show this real quick. Let me bring it up. I'm about to share my screen, and then I got one more clip for you all as we close out for this evening. All right. All right. Let me see. 1 second. Let me share my screen. Uh-oh. Excuse me. Excuse me. I got to bring it back. My apologies, family. Let me bring that back. Get these last two off. All right, let me share my screen. And I thank you once again for continuing to support us, continuing to rock out with the Ethereal Journey podcast. You know what I'm saying? And your continued support. All right. All right. Let me get to this here. All right. Let me share my screen here, family. Hopefully this comes out as I intended it to. All right. Come here. Boom. All right. Cool. All right. Looking at our phenomenal. All right. That is not playing like I wanted to. That's okay. I'll come back to that another time, family. And let me show this last clip, and then we can we can get up out of here for this evening. All right. You show this last clip, and this is the last piece of last piece of it, ethereal inspiration. All right. And hopefully, because we talked about earlier, I mean, the ability to defend what it is that we have. All right, family. So as opposed to getting into aspects of you know bickering, fussing, fighting, and arguing, you need to be looking at training, right? Training our minds, training our bodies. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. And we're going to watch this last clip, come back to you all, ethereal journalists, and get closing um, statements, final remarks. Come on, come on, family. But ain't not trying to let me play this. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't do this to me, family. Let me try one more time. Mm. Let me play this clip. It's too strong, too strong. Try this one more time, family. Okay. All right, let me share my screen. Make it do what it do. Share. Let me give it a share.
Oh, all right. No.
Clear. Clear. House clear.
Come. Why they gonna do that to me? Why they gonna do that to me like that? They want me to play this last clip. This whoo. They got me going. They got me going. Family, family. Let me try that one more again. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, okay. All right. I'm gonna do it right from the nitty gritty. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, breaching and clearing. Okay, so that's the type of attention we need to be paying. All right, as it pertains to training. All right, training of our minds, training of our bodies, training of our spirits, training of our families, looking at what is coming down the pike and being prepared. All right, staying ready so we don't have to get ready. Let me come to you all, ethereal journalists. Final, well, let me get your opinions on the clips, and then we'll come to final thoughts and closing remarks for this evening. All right, all right. Well, okay. Let me come to final thoughts and closing remarks. Final thoughts, closing remarks for this evening. All right, we have up the voices of the diaspora family. We talked a little bit earlier about educating our own children. So of course we'd be remiss if we. And this is one of the series family. This is this the This is Secure the Legacy, Black Family Tactical Preparedness for Urban and Rural Survival. Okay, so Voices of the Diaspora Family. This will be talking about is some of the training that we have inside of the Voices of Diaspora series. Okay, Brother Knowledge Born, the author and publisher, Brother Knowledge Born Allah. All right, so tap in, get your information. All right, that's an example that we saw in that video clip. This is the information that we have in the booklet. You know what I'm saying? Get ready so you don't have to stay ready, excuse me, so you don't have to get ready. All right, different tactical observations, all right, practices, equipment that are in one of this series, family. So 13 book series, Voices of the Diaspora. Make sure that you tap in, family. It's a wealth of knowledge and information. Again, as you're talking about building our own curriculums, building our own master classes. These are the things we need to be focused on. All right, not bickering and arguing over the internet. All right, about nonsensical, who is blacker, who is black enough, who has the most culture. All right, idiotic type of arguments being utilized once again as puppets. All right, family. So yeah, have an exit strategy. Have an emergency plan. Have a bug out bag. Have some supplies of non-perishable foods. Have some supplies of potable water, family. All right, these are some of the tactics and some of the information that is packed within these volumes. All right, so get the ebook series, Voices of the Diaspora. This is just one of the many in the volume. All right, 13 book series. All right, we have a non-volume that is sequential, and then we have another additional 4 standalone volumes, ranging to a total of 13. Family, we have a current promo price. All right, premier promo package. All right, and bundle that we're looking at for the low price of $99. Family. All right,
Yeah, the pros and cons of math.
It will go for after the promo special, it goes for 150, family. All right, so this can be utilized in several different ways and arenas. All right, for those who are looking to educate our children properly, right, from our perspective, that is going to be the most beneficial to their future growth and development. Also, educating yourselves, right, being able to educate. Also, aspects of edification, right, of elevation, of empowerment. All right, so tap in and get the information. If you just put it into the emails, where you got the information from. You know what I mean? Just put in EJP, the Real Journey Podcast, or whichever platform that you got the information from, or if you receive it from one of us directly, put that inside the emails. Just give us a shout out as we continue to build and collaborate and partner with our brother Knowledge Born Allah. and the Voices of Diaspora ebook series. All right. So for further information, for sessions, of course, we're providing the ebook series, also being able to provide a sit downs, forums from the author himself, another born Allah, to break down any further information. Also building virtual community, all right, with experts in the field. Okay, so you can have this information readily available to you. You can have one-on-ones with Brother Knowledge Born Allah, booking those sessions, and we're making those available as as people are getting the information, and also building community. All right, so you'll have a place to ask different questions, get additional information, and build with other folks that are in your same like mind and spirit, family. All right, so we can be able to build together, right? Build these online communities and be able to develop, more aspects of communion, right, and unity as we move forward with things that is going to be pertinent to us all, family. All right. So for more information, you can shoot me an email at powerman2282@gmail.com. That is powerman2282@gmail.com. You could also hit Brother Knowledge at the email do the knowledge radio at gmail.com. All right, do the knowledge radio at gmail.com. That is do THA the knowledge radio at gmail.com. All right. So to get more insights, information, shoot us that email and let's build, family. Let's get this information, get it while it's hot before the prices go back up. Doing a special for Black History 100. All right. So get this pertinent information. All right, that you're going to need, that you're actually going to need. Not fluff stuff or just things that are dramatic, right? Not just here for entertainment, we're here for education, edification, upliftment, and empowerment. All right. With that being said, let me
Yeah, I was just going to say before we close out, one of our other ethereal journalists has a project. So I wanted to ask Brother L, were there any updates on his project? And of course, we're talking about the syphilis tsunami.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh man, thank you, Sister Chi. Yeah, we're in our second phase of our public service announcements. We've done a full scale video. Me and my DJ Rocksteady, we put together a great sort of like a movie type of video so that people can get the gist of what the whole information and message that we're talking about. And pretty much the main message is go get your butt checked. Simple. It's saying, you got problems. Go get yourself checked. And if you look at the video, we show, black and brown, a black woman and black man in a very tight situation, trying to figure it all out after he got exposed because the disease exposed him. He brought a third party situation into his two-party so-called monogamous relationship and got exposed to syphilis. And then we talk about societal problems concerning our tax dollars being used against us. And then the last part, it goes more of into an ethereal realm type of level. Well, we're saying that these things are reason why these things are happening in the earth. You're messing with the children. The children are being exploited. And then we're not even protecting our woman's womb to bring forth our next generation of children because these diseases are now impacting our, next generations, especially if a child comes out DOA, dead on arrival. So I appreciate you mentioning that. We're in our second phase of our PSAs. We're getting a lot of great feedback, getting some attention on it this time because we took it up to a level in which we're trying to pretty much provoke people's thoughts to get involved with health and wellness, especially for Black women. One of my main things is black women's health issues, specifically maternal health issues, as well as disease prevention and intervention. So that's what we're in right now. You could go to El Pollinator's websites on all of the social media sites, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, X, YouTube, and look at the video. You can go to my websites and we can, you can actually see the whole video You don't necessarily have to go to YouTube, but you can go straight to our websites and see it. And also on DJ Rocksteady's website, his name is Shephatiah Harvey. If you want to go look at the video on his website, and it's all about getting the message out for us. You know, people are saying, oh, you know, it's hard to, you know, talk about sex. No, y'all been talking about sex in movies. Y'all been talking about sex and everything else, music and everything else. Why can't we talk about the bad side or the consequences to having this free sex and everybody just having sex with everybody without protecting themselves from these deadly diseases such as syphilis and HIV and any other communicable disease that we're dealing with? So we're just bringing the opposite end of the balance scales and trying to balance this thing out. Now, sex is good. It was meant for us to have babies and procreate and do the things that we're doing. But there's a other part of it that we as humankind have dwelled into a very nefarious situation where now babies are being born. And that pretty much is the message. We cannot allow these things to continue on. We got to stop it because the babies are coming out dead on arrival. And that's what the whole thing is about. And we're getting ready to team up with a couple of people that are interested in doing some other projects with us concerning the syphilis tsunami. So it's a worldwide thing we're trying to make it to be. And I appreciate you acknowledging that and bringing forth that information. And we're going to continue to keep you guys updated on how that thing is going as well. Appreciate you.
All right. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you for that. You know, you was holding on them. Y'all asked for updates at the top of the hour. You was holding out on that syphilis tsunami. You know what I'm saying? I got it right here on the screen, though. Let me go ahead and let it rock.
Tonight, doctors are sounding the alarm on what they're calling a syphilis tsunami. New data from 2024 shows syphilis cases in the United States. New CDC data show cases have jumped more than 80% in the past 5 years.
Go get your butt checked for the syphilis infection.
New cases of syphilis spreading. So,
Go get your butt checked for the syphilis infection. Syphilis from you. I don't care what you do. You're getting.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed.
Tonight, doctors are sounding.
So at the end of the day, go get your butt checked. All right, family. And you know, I want to add in again, you know, just to take it on the EtheReal real quick. You know, people too often are looking at just the carnal aspects and nature of things, but understanding that you know, intercourse, that you know, that there's more than just the carnal aspect of things. There's more than just the physical. There's also the mental and the spiritual. All right, this is something that is divine, right? And this is the aspects that we have to look at these things in, right? Because you know the powers that be will have you just on your carnal based level and just, you know, humping anything with a heartbeat. But no, there should be investigation that goes into this. There should be investments, right? There should be, you know, building of relationships. You know what I'm saying? And this is ultimately building of families, building of communities, building of nations. This is the root of things, the essence of things, not just to, you know, be you know, popping off. You know what I'm saying? So looking at things from all of those aspects and understanding that this is a union, right? When you're talking about a marriage, family, this is the base unit of it. You're talking about a marriage, talking about that type of commitment. A marriage is two people becoming one. All right. So this should be this is a spiritual contract that you're signing, right? These are soul ties that you are creating. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep these things in mind and not be doing these divine activities arbitrarily, family. Let's have paperwork parties as well. You know, you talk about you know, that this party and BS. Let's have these paperwork parties and make sure that we're coming to the table with our receipts and saying I got a clean bill of health. You know what I'm saying? So we're not continuing to spread these communicable diseases, family. All right.
No doubt.
So let's take things on a higher level, you know what I mean, and really get in tune with the divine, get get in tune with the spiritual aspect of things, get in tune with what is supposed to be in aspects of the creator, of the most high, right? This is one of the highest forms of intimacy. Okay. And it's all encompassing mentally, spiritually, and physically. So let's
And
make it.
just to get this real quick in, one day when we do an ethereal program based on women's health issues and things, we're going to play the whole video so that everybody can get a gist of it. Since I do have the rights to play it on any platform, we'll play it here on the Ethereal Journey podcast and pretty much debut it on the Ethereal Journey podcast as an official sort of like premiere whenever you guys are ready to do that and everything like that, so that everybody can see the whole video. The clip you just saw was just another promotional video with our DJ, just scratch and go get your butt checked. But the real video, we're going to allow the Ethereal Journey artists one day to hear the whole video if they haven't seen it already on all the social media sites. But I appreciate you guys and thank you for bringing that to the forefront.
Absolutely. Thank you for your service, for that work with keeping us up to speed and up to date, to making sure that we are aware of these communicable diseases that are spreading rapidly and ravaging our community. All right, family. With that being said, I think we're going to close out for this evening. Let me come to you all for final thoughts and closing remarks. Let me come to you first, Brother Pollinator. Final thoughts, closing remarks.
Man, it was a great. I suspect this is the 36th show or the first episode of the second season. Either way it goes, we're here on a new platform and we're here to bring ethereal knowledge, wisdom, and information so that you can grow on your journey. It's not all about what we're saying, but it's also about how are you translating this information and making it work for you. If it applies, if it don't apply, let it fly. But if it applies, at least we're hopefully giving you some nuggets to improve your ethereal journey, because we are all on our own path to an extent, but we are collectively going in one direction. So as we come together and we continue to transcend, elevate, and ascend to our higher selves, we're going to start meeting at certain crossroads. And at those crossroads is where we're going to be able to build. So we just encourage our ethereal audience, the good, righteous, and beautiful peoples that support our podcast, to continue to work on your inner technology, your own kingdom within, your knowledge of self. And as we continue to develop, we just want to, help you along your ride and help you along your road and your path or your journey. And we just thank you for tuning into our show. We'll be back next week at 8:00 p.m. sharp. And we'll continue this journey. And I'm just going to say upward, forward, and onward. UFO, shalom, and one.
I say. Much appreciated. Give thanks for that addition, Brother Pollinator. All right. With that being said, let me come to Brother Knowledge, born Allah. Final thoughts, closing remarks. Good brother.
Yeah, hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure. Honest to you, Captain Uncaged, Brother El Pollinator, okay? Tell them go get their brains, then they behind checked. You understand what I'm saying? They both need to get checked at the same time.
Hey, technically speaking, I put a video out a few months ago that said, go get your butt checks. It just doesn't mean physically, it means spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Go get your butt checked, because all that stuff is encompasses in one avatar. But I'm sorry, go ahead, finish your thought, brother. I'm glad you mentioned
it. Look, I'm glad. It was implied, right, for those who have an eye. You see what I'm saying?
There we go.
A little bit of Polynese. You understand what I'm saying? I speak a little bit of Polynese. Mr. Empress, thank you earlier for the opportunity to showcase in the Meet the Author section. Your intro was profound, and the flow of the moments that were there was very powerful. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity and excited for next week as well. This is a great addition to the platform going forward, and I'm thankful to have, some of the family here in support and solidarity of what we're building. We're building our Black future in advance, like we used to. We're building our Black future in advance. So we become more critically aware, the ability to be able to critically analyze and interpret data, and then synthesize it and put it back out in a way that's useful for us. So that requires some skill, that requires some effort, but it also requires a holistic approach. You know what I'm saying? A holistic approach. So sometimes we need to check up from the neck up, and then sometimes we need to beat up from the feet up. You understand what I'm saying? In regards to what it is, because these concepts are hidden in us. They're hidden in us. They're dormant in some of us, and it takes a situation to unlock it. So if we facilitate the environment for some of these things to be unlocked, and we can begin to start moving in the way that we need to move. Right? But the book that I put out, Secure the Legacy, it's family activation, right? But we can't get to secure the legacy if we don't deal with the power of Black family. So they're ordered in a way to get through the muck and the mire of the trauma so you could be of one accord. You see what I'm saying? Be of one mind and move in that way. So sometimes verbal communication becomes like a thing where you falter in that space. If you on one accord, some words don't even need to be said. You understand? We could give each other a look and already understand, like, all right, it's time to get up out of here, or we have to prepare to defend ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So moving to the mind where you operate from a space to secure your family or your community from the mind of clarity and not from the mind of fear, because fear is going to put you in a state of a perpetual mistake making, head bumping, and results in casualties of all kinds, and then results in physical casualties as well. So being mindful in that space in regards to that, and that opportunity is there for the training. So if your family needs some consultation, y'all want to set up small groups, whatever the case, however that goes, I'm available to share what I've learned from combat situations and real life engagements to get you in the mind of one who has that aptitude to be able to recognize a threat on the horizon and do what's necessary to prepare yourself. So I yield with that. Thank you for another opportunity to build with my ethereal journalist family.
I say.
Shalom, brother.
Much appreciated for that addition and all the excellent work that you're doing. I dropped 2 bombs because I ain't dropped the bomb for Brother Pollinator.
Oh man, hey, blow them up. Let's blow them up.
Information that we're able to disseminate. All right. With that being said, let me come over to Sister Empress. Final thoughts, closing remarks for this evening.
All right. Well, again, another great Ethereal Journey podcast presentation. And we're certainly looking forward to next week and the following weeks and the following weeks. I just want everyone to know that I am supposed to be on Baba Jalil Montague's podcast on Saturday. I'm trying to fit it in. I got an invitation yesterday to be on his podcast for Saturday. So I'm trying to readjust some things to be on there. And again, you can also check out Carl Nelson. You can go to the archives and hear the rebroadcast of our conversation that we had yesterday. But we also want to remind everyone that we have postponed the event that we were going to do in DC on Saturday. That has been postponed. We're going to reschedule it. We hear that there might be some more snow coming either Thursday or Friday. So just to be on the safe side, we're going to reschedule it. And also we had hoped to have a little more support from the DC Black family. But, you know, that didn't happen the way we anticipated. So it all worked out. And so we will make sure that MWM will pay the tribute to our freedom fighting elders as a part of our this year's 29-year anniversary commemoration. I want to also remind everyone that Friday, you can check us out live and in living color here in Philly. We'll be at a facility known as Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. We'll be
That's Sunday, though, right?
Yeah, that's the Sunday, right?
Sunday, you said Friday. Okay, Sunday, right.
Oh,
right.
sorry. Yeah, that'll be on Sunday, March the 1st, the very first day of what is known as Women's History Month. So we're hoping that folks will now get their membership. It's only $30 for the entire year as a part of our upcoming 30-year anniversary commemoration. Brothers, you can get a membership for the sister in your community, family, circle. But sisters, come on now, $30 for the entire year. You know, sisters pay more than that for their nails. And one nail really sometimes. Anyway, so we'll be giving you a lot of information on Sunday, and again, it'll start at 3 o'clock from 3 to 7. And again, we will be live streaming it as well as at a physical location located at 4326 American Street, North American Street here in Philly, and we'll also be back here on Stream Live to also, bring you what's going to be happening, because we're going to make some special announcements. And we're also holding a forum. The forum is the state and future of Black Philly, but also Black communities united nationwide. What we're going to really do. So that's part of what's going to be happening for Sunday. So again, family, look forward to being with you again. And again, support SWM. Why not? I mean, what other Black women's organization do you know that is independent, national, international, and not only talking about nation building, but taking an active role in making it happen? Back to you, Brother Lumumba.
All right, absolutely. Going to be highlighting, if I'm not mistaken, some pioneers and innovators, women, Black women, right here in Philadelphia. Right?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the kickoff for a national campaign. We're going to kick it off here in Philly. It is our own Great Black Women's Halls of Fame. So we figure if other folks can do certain things, why can't we have our own? So again, on Sunday, we will begin to launch the national MWM Universal Movement Black Women's Halls of Fame. And it'll cover arts, sports, education, the whole gambit. We're going to kick it off here in Philly, but then as we go to other cities, we will be looking at who we're going to induct into the halls of fame from other cities as well. That's what we call movement building. You see, can't just talk about just having an organization, not in this day and age. It's got to be a little more dynamic. And so now, in order to exemplify unity and make it happen, we're creating our own everything. So the other thing that you'll hear us talk more about is the Million Woman Manufacturers. Oh yeah. See, again, there are hundreds of, well, brothers too, but right now we're going to focus on our sisters, hundreds, thousands even, of Black women that are making their own something, earrings or other jewelry or hats, clothing, health products, you name it, food products. We have our women making all kinds of things, production. So that's what we're looking at, marketing and also distributing our own everything. So again, you'll hear us talk more about that on Sunday as well.
Absolutely, I say. And just to name a few of the honorees is going to be Sister Vernoka Michael, all right, legendary co-owner and president CEO of the legendary Blue Horizon, all right, boxing venue, all right, an event space, becoming the first African American female boxing promoter in Pennsylvania, all right, 1998. Also, in conjunction with the historic Paul Robeson House, all right, being able to upkeep that space in history for us as well as Sister Diana Montague, all right. Sister Montague is the first Black female to be an official iron worker in the city of Philadelphia, all right, with the trade union 405, establishing the Iron Lady LLC, and dubbed the toughest woman in America. Okay, so this is just some of the highlights, family, that we're talking about when we're highlighting our Black women. All right, with this Hall of Fame. And this will be part of the ceremony on March the 1st, family, once again. And to get more information on that, of course, you can email nationalmwm@aol.com. That's nationalmwm@aol.com. Also, you can text 267-636-3802. Again, the number is 267-636-3802. Come out and support the phenomenal and historic original Million Woman March organization, as well as support our Black women. And let's continue to make Black history. All right. With that being said, we're going to close out for this evening, family. Thank you so much once again for joining in, for supporting. I want to give, of course, thanks and first and foremost to the Most High Creator Creatress. Give thanks to the ancestors and the elders, those who have shed blood, sweat, and tears and paved the way to allow us to be here today. I want to give thanks to you all. Thank you for time, energy, and effort, dedication, determination, and discipline. I bid you all truth, justice, peace, love, freedom, power, prosperity, protection, and divinely principled purpose. I want to say, let us continue to strategize, organize, and mobilize. And finally, family, of course, I want to say Pamoja Tutashenda, which means together
we will win.
All right.
Upward forward.
Work hard for the ladies. Empress, the God